Welcome in episode number 127 here of the Immaculate Series on United Spurs of America. I hope you are too blessed to be stressed, as am I. Big up HUSAM with This Is Football, everyone who came on over. I see over 130 people already in the chat. I'm about 5 seconds into this intro. So big up everybody who is here right now. If you're here for a short time or a long time, either way, it's going to be a good time. So make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, vote in the poll, etc., etc. Those are all free ways you can support the channel. You can help us grow in free ways. You want to do the free thing, help the channel grow, go ahead and do those things I just mentioned. But if not, go ahead and just enjoy yourself. You don't have to do anything you don't want to here. But again, big ups to everyone. Look, we got a here we go. But it really wasn't the here we go maybe we thought we were going to get. This is obviously I was going to say an issue, but this is going to be a topic. I don't know if I want to say an issue. That might not be the greatest terms for it, but as everyone knows, I'm not breaking any news here. We are all very well aware of the fact that it is here we go with a TIMO Werner. I don't know how you say his last name correctly. I mean, he is German, so it will be with a V. But either way, look, this is a signing that I think will tear the fan base down the middle. But real quick, let me say big up to some people in the house before we really get into the nitty gritty. But as you know, I just got to say hello to some of the people that are here. So big up to Jazz Fusion, big up Philly, and NYC says Turbo Time 1,000 times better than the Pigeon. Hey, might be onto something. We got some YouTube chat members already here. Big up Peter Aga. I hope you're doing well. Spurs GCTV is in the house. Apologies for being late. Again, I was over there on HUSAM. I was going to say HUSAM TV. That's not the name of his channel, but big congrats to This Is Football, hitting that 25K oh so nicely. So big ups to him every single time. Big up to Sean with Spurs Talk Show as well. We had a great little show over there. And spoiler alert, we may be getting a surprise appearance by somebody that I may or may not have just mentioned. So we'll find out. But I'm also making sure there was an edit to one of my clips that one of the people in the chat suggested, and honestly, it's quite a great. I don't even know how do I really say this. Like it's one of my favorite one of my favorite videos, and it's of HUSAM and the donkey quote. But I'll play that at a later juncture when it makes more sense. But just so you know, that's I did work on that for those of you in the chat who were telling me to edit that clip. Big up Todd Spurs in the house. Philip Bidwell came on over from This Is Football. Big up Philly. Says Jacob has starting to blow up and now he starts his shows late. That was not my fault, but technically I guess it was because I was late to HUSAM's show, which in then turn made our show there run later. So yes, you know what? Now that I kind of speak about it, it does sound like, in fact, I was late and it is my fault. But you know what? Whatever I can do to deflect the blame, I will try to do anyway. So there you are. But big up everybody who did come on over from HUSAM TV. I do appreciate that. Hope you are having a great Saturday evening. Evening to Drula as well. It says evening Jacob, Chewy, and chat. Big up Drula. How you doing? Shamu's in the house. Big up Shamu. Watching from Acacia, Pretoria, South Africa. Pretoria, the only reason I think I know of this place is not necessarily for the good reasons, because of the guy, the Blade Runner, the dude and his girlfriend, that whole thing that happened. He was in Pretoria, wasn't he? I don't know. I'm not geographically that savvy, so apologies. Big up Hansi G, steady as shark. I see Cursor in the house. Big up Cursor. Big up steady as I already said steady as shark. LFC Aaron is here. He said he wasn't going to watch the show over there. This is TV. This is football, but he did. So big up LFC Aaron every single time. Giuseppe Alberto's here. Big up Giuseppe, my newest friend. There he is. HUSAM TV rated. Big up everyone who did come on over. Big up Wolves Fight. Taka says, why is Kane still in the intro? Let it go, man. Look, Taka, I'm going to say the same thing that I said over there on This Is Football, which is, if you look at a Pablo Picasso painting, sometimes immediately it may not dawn on you, but then you got to kind of look at it a little differently. It is a storybook telling, Taka. The intro has Harry Kane, and then he's gone, and then he's Ainge, and it's Son, and it's Basuma, and it's a storytelling, Taka. It's there for the storytelling purposes. You know, I don't think Taka, you'll understand one day. But you know what? before I keep going on too much longer, let me go ahead. I did slightly foreshadow a guest joining. And when I say guest, I really mean family member. We've got Sean from Spurs Talk Show. How you doing, my friend?
You fraud.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. You were like, who's this Jacob on This Is Football? I've never seen this spicy version.
Yeah.
Sometimes I serve up normal chicken sandwiches. Sometimes I serve up spicy chicken sandwiches.
Like Dr.
Today
Jacob and Mr. Hyde, right? Jekyll and Hyde?
Jacob and Hyde. No, it's all the... Maybe like Frankenstein, the doctor, and his beast. Maybe that's what it's closer to. But how you doing, my friend? Long time no see.
Yeah, well, I went downstairs to make a coffee, and then I didn't do it because I was like, it's I've had too many, man. I got this new machine. I was telling backstage, I got this new machine, and trying to figure out on the job how to make good coffees, but I'm very bad at them right now. So I've had like 10 different I've had like 6 double espressos today, so 12 shots of espresso, and can't be good. It can't be good. So I thought I'd better give it a rest and then start again tomorrow morning.
You know,
but it was good. I enjoyed the last stream with you.
Yeah, that was fun.
We can get back to your
delusions,
delusional,
or my unwavering support of select individuals.
What happens if we bring in Dragusin and he's so good that Romero gets shafted back to bench player? Do you have a love of Dragusin, or do you sit there and go, this guy, you're always looking for a reason why he shouldn't be in the team to get Romero back in? You know,
no, I would say I'm giving him an open opportunity to fall in love with me, you know, or vice versa, I should say. I'm giving him an open opportunity to impress me to a point where I feel such desire to defend him in the public forum. That's what and if that happens, that's good for Tottenham. So I wouldn't be upset in that sense. I would just say, Romero, step up your game. And I know he's so good that he could step up his game, thus unseating Dragusin, no matter how good he may or may not be. Ooh, what is that? Potato pancakes. Ooh, yum, yum. Thank you. Oh, I just got some potato pancakes. Ain't that sweet?
Nice.
Hey, look at that. Thank you very much to my wife. Sean, there's a little bit of a joke here on the channel, and I don't know... again, big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you are hitting a like. There's almost 200.
You look like someone, by the way.
That I look like someone?
Yeah, you pulled a face during the last show, and I was like, oh, that's it. That's who it is. He's an actor, and the reason why I looked it up was because of your little bromance you have with Husam. I thought of the film. Have you seen the film I Love You, Man, with Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd and Jason Segel.
Yeah, and you look just like Jason Segel in the face. It's mad.
You know what's funny is I've heard that. I've heard that a few times, and I always thought it was just because we're relatively the same size as well. We're the same build and everything, and his humor kind of coincides with my humor as well. But big up everybody in the chat. I do apologize if I don't see you. The chat is absolutely flying, but I want to make sure I say hello to some of these chat members. Hyper Noise, how you doing? Chris Agambar is a regular. Carl Simpson, big up. Jacob, a rad dude next. Look, this was the guy that I wanted to see as a first. Here we go, because it was the most... Sean, what would you say is our most desperate position right now? So I feel like it's always been center back, and then I would say an attacker next. But even in the summer when we signed Mickey Van de Veen and Ashley Phillips, I still felt would have liked one more guy. And I don't know. The TIMO WERNER deal, is it just a deal of opportunity? I heard he was sniffing around United yesterday, and then all of a sudden here we are.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, I feel like I can see names in the chat, right? That everywhere I've been today, they have been in the chat. So I feel like I'm going to say what I'm about to say for the 84th time, at the risk of getting boring. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think he if we get in a centre back now, if we get Radu Dragusin, I'm cool with our defensive options. I think we've got enough cover, with the utility of the players back there. Like, if there's an injury to Udogie, but Romero and Van der Ven and Dragusin are all fit, you could put Van der Ven out to the left. Like, we got ways and means.
That presents a lot of options, yeah.
Yeah. In the midfield, I mean, we're going to miss Saar, and I'd like us to get someone else done. But I think when you look at our forward options, there's something that's not clicking about it. And without Son and without Maddison, Richarlison loses. Like when we're doing that kind of horseshoe nonsense, where we just like when someone does a low block and they just pass it around and around, back and recycled around again, without the creativity to unlock the door, and without Sonny alongside, Richarlison has the kind of tendency to go a little bit missing and get irrelevant. So I think the Timo Werner is going to offer quite a lot, but that doesn't solve everything for me. I think that Manor Solomon Manor Solomon's re-arrival, I think, could be really meaningful for us, because we need someone who's got like a low center of gravity and who can kind of dart in and out. And as much as I think Brian Hill could do it if he wanted to, he doesn't do it enough. He doesn't want to sort of take players on quite as much as he could. But Manor Solomon's good at that stuff. So with Timo Werner, with Manor Solomon back, with Brennan Johnson on the right, I think we've got enough to be dangerous. And I think we're going to beat United, and I think we're going to beat Brentford. So I'm happy.
You know, and the thing for me, I said this on HUSAM's show, Timo Werner, the things he did do well at Chelsea, I think if he could do at least some of those for these 6 months, then this deal's worth it. Like we said over there as well, this is a very low risk deal. 6-month loan with an option, not an obligation. We don't have to do anything we don't want to. But if he comes in, hits the ground running, shows why Chelsea bought him, then I think it's an absolute masterclass of a deal. It could be, or it could just be a waste of our time. But either way, we need some damn troops. Either the best of troops, the worst of troops. We need warm bodies that can actually get up the pitch and threaten a back line. Now, there was a comment that I was looking at earlier, not this one, that says I look like 13 Kai, which I just looked him up. This is not actually a bad. I don't dislike it. He's not an ugly bastard. So
someone said John Mayer. I'm not seeing that. Can't see that one. But let me look at 13 Kai.
13 Kai, I mean, most of his pictures are kind of like crazy looking, but he's not like the ugliest bastard I've ever seen. So, yeah, I've heard Jason Segel a lot in my life, honestly.
Jason Segel's the guy. That's we nailed it with Jason Segel. I've decided.
It was that damn show, How I Met Your Mother. People were like, "You're just like that." I was like, "You just saying that because that show's popular, you fraud." But either way, look, Timo Werner for me, I like the deal. I wouldn't say I'm overly excited, through the moon. My expectations aren't here, but when Chelsea signed him from Leipzig, I was jealous. About a skoshi here or there, you know. It's a fluid situation. Bruce Lee said, "Be like water. Water takes the shape of whatever form vessel you put it in. If I put water in this, it takes the shape of this. If I put water in this, it takes the shape of this. So be like water, fluid situation." Again, 3 matches. If he does absolutely nothing and he's horrible and he's all the bad things we saw at Chelsea, then you know what? I'm going to be dropping my expectations, my hopes and desires to see how this works out. But if he comes in, 18 Premier League matches left. If he comes in and gets us 12 GA, 15 GA in 18 matches.
You're not going to get 15 in 18.
You don't know what this man might do. This is just I just thought of a number, just threw it out there. If he could get us 1 GA, average point like 8 a game, 1 GA, is he worth a 6-month loan?
He's worth a 6-month loan if he scores. If he scores the winner in 2 games, he's worth the money.
Paul here says it's not solving low block teams. I was debating this with Sean and HUSAM, and I was in the minority here, that I think we don't need Timo Werner to necessarily break down the low block. I don't need Timo Werner to come in and crack him down like a Harry Kane would, right? I need him to play whether right, left, through the middle. One of them, whatever Ainge sees in him, and obviously he sees him in at least 2 different positions. He likes his versatile players. But wherever he does play, if he can just provide an option to potentially unlocking the door of the low block, or helping distract them while Brennan Johnson or Richarlison or somebody else can come in and help supplement Kulusevski. Look, if all the pressure's on Kulusevski, I don't think he can perform. But you alleviate that the pressure on Kulusevski's shoulders by bringing in an attacker and working in front of him, whatever side he may be on at any given moment. I think he can actually help us unlock something. I think he can. Again, this is my thought. I know the running let's all laugh at Timo Werner because it was funny, because it was for Chelsea, but there was legitimately things that scared me about this player when Chelsea did sign him. Again, I did poke fun. I did laugh at this guy. So it is a little bit of like, I don't know if I got to walk it back or...
Situation was different then, mate. Situation was different, you know?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Be like water. That's a good point, Sean.
Exactly. Fluid. Fluid with your opinions, fluid with your expectations, and fluid with your, consumption. Hydration Nation.
Hydration Nation, pause for the cause one time. That's a great shout, which while I do that, big up Tom Martin, says he's a member of both of our channels. Well, two favorite content creators. Very big up.
Big up, Tom. Hydration Nation.
Always got to pause for that cause. I'm kind of getting distracted here with this. Have you heard some of these songs that they're trying to come out with for
TIMO? On the dance floor, and the Spurs are in the mood. DJ.
I kind of like that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's 60,000 people that are going to sing that in the stadium. We're not singing. Who would sing that? What's her name? Damn, I can't remember the artist. I
don't know why Morissette came to my mind, and it's definitely not.
No, it's not Alanis Morissette. It was someone else.
It's very old.
Yeah, it's like a early 2000s, late 90s. No,
it sounds like the 70s. I don't know, man.
No. It's when I was growing up, so it's like 90s song. It's Sophie Ellis Bextor. That's it. Musings of a football fan. Shout to you, Sophie Ellis Bextor. Yeah. It's murder on the dance floor.
Hey, big up Koi's TT. Usually when I see the word American, it's followed by go fuck yourself, or you're a fraud, stick to baseball, or Americans don't know ball. So those are usually what I'm greeted with. Now, very seldom here, the American is a real cool man. Yeah, I appreciate that, my friend. Hey, look at that. Hotspur Hippie's in the house. Says, come on, you Spurs. Big up Hotspur Hippie every single time. Look, the chat, I keep scrolling and it keeps refreshing and moving. There's 230 of y'all in the house right now. Make sure you are hitting a like on the video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And Spurs Talk Show will also be in the title here of this video. So you can click that very easily and go and subscribe to him as well if you aren't already. But look, just give me, I know probably a majority of the audience heard your initial thoughts, but I hadn't quite caught up in Henry Wright's stream with you, Sava, and Henry, where I was first listening to it and it was it was Henry and Sava, but you hadn't joined yet. What was your initial response when you heard it, when it was like officially official, we were trying to go in for him?
I went in because I went on to Sava's stream. Yeah, you talking about Sava's stream this morning? No, you would have been asleep. So I wake up.
I woke up at 5:50 in the morning, 6 a.m., something like that, and I just looked at my phone.
That was on Henry's stream. So I wake up.
Yeah, you were on Henry. Yeah,
but before Henry's, it was Sava's stream, and because I had like 10 coffees yesterday as well. I didn't sleep until like 3 o'clock in the morning, so I fall asleep until like 10 o'clock. Wake up. Sava's text me the news or text me the story, and he goes, "Oh, if you want to come on." And I just literally got out of bed and I sort of dial into Sava's stream, and Sava's not positive on the story at all. And I'm like, nah, don't agree with that. And because I was tired, grumpy, and on the kind of caffeine come down, I went in and was like, "Oh, Sava, you're so negative, and like you're calling everyone's opinion." I was a bit harsh on him, to be honest. So, yeah, but my initial opinion was that I think it makes sense. I think there's some transfers are speculative, some transfers are unbelievably impressive, some transfers are drawn out. This one for me, it makes sense. It's just like logic. Logic has entered the room. You know,
when I first was like, what? Because of course it's 6 a.m. and I'm doing this, and it's like Timo Werner. I was actually like, wait a minute. what are we doing in this system? A lot of running. What is his main attribute that we like? His running. And
Yep.
again, he performs well in Bundesliga, didn't perform well in the Premier League. I said this on the last show that I think even having Timo Werner come back to the Premier League, Hussam asked the question, you don't hold it against him what happened, his failures in the Premier League? And necessarily I don't, because I looked at the things that were good about him when he first came into the league, and I liked a lot of those. And then I saw him underperform for Chelsea, and I laughed at it like I would with any other rival underperforming. But now, as a man returning to something he was unsuccessful at, I see it as him. This is his redemption time. This is no, the pressure's not even necessarily on him. When he went to Chelsea, they were asking him to be their target guy and to score their goals because they had Kai Havertz and Mason Mount around him. They weren't going to score the goals. Someone had to score the goals. They put all this pressure on him, and some men, some players aren't good enough to live up to the hope and the expectation. Chelsea's not an easy place to go and be the number 9 at. We know that. My point is saying that is he's coming back, low pressure, low expectations. Everyone thinks he's a clown. That gives him something to prove people wrong. And me, when I played, this is just from my perspective, I always felt like you can have your perception about me and I'm going to be the one to prove you wrong. And if Timo can adapt, if he has that attitude, which if Ainge signed off on him, it would lead me to believe that he does have that attitude. But if he does, and he can come into this with a proper mindset, I think he might be able to cook. I think he might be able to do something good. And if he doesn't, and if it's like, oh, Jacob, you're a clown, you thought Timo Werner would cook. Well, guess what? 6 months, he's not going to be at this club any longer. And bye-bye. And it's very low risk. I mean, really, I think this is like buying into crypto when it was $20 and you're just riding it out to see what might happen. You could get rich. You could end up broke. We don't know yet. And I like that, let's, again, remember before he went to...
One last time, mate. Like, what else are we going to do? Like, it's not like there's that many options. There really aren't options that are affordable. I don't want Tottenham knee-jerk react, like going, okay, if we want to buy a striker, if it's not him, let's go and speak to 10 clubs. Hello, Brentford, is Ivan Toney for sale? No, not unless you're going to spend 100 million quid because we're in a relegation battle. Okay, well then that one's out the window. Hello, Bournemouth, is Dominic Solanke for sale? Not unless you're going to pay 90 million quid because of English homegrown tax and also striker short supply, high demand. Okay. Hello, Feyenoord. Is Jimenez available? No, absolutely not. Not unless you're going to pay 90 million quid. Come back to us in the summer. You start going through that, and then you end up going, well, if you're not going to go and get him, then let's go and get Serhou Guirassy for 17 million quid. And this guy is potentially the biggest fraud in, I'm using that word now too much. I feel like it's going to sit into my...
I like it. There you go.
Serhou Guirassy's got one season of good football, of good returns, and... like, that's the option. So I don't want Tottenham to go and commit to a 4 or 5 year contract on a player just because we need someone now. I think he's better to wait until the summer. The market's different there. It's easier. You've got more time. You can get more creative with the way that you go about it. Like, January is not the window to do a massive signing, and a permanent striker in this window is going to be a massive one, and it's going to break our budget, break the bank, and all that stuff. So not only does it make sense in and of itself, but the other part of the equation is there really isn't that many other options, and we need someone.
Yeah. So. And I mean, again, that's a good point, because if there aren't that many options, do we want to go shell out on how much you think Sassuolo is going to ask for Armand Loriente? How much you think Bruges is going to ask for Antonio Nusa? They're going to fleece us because it's January.
Exactly.
Plain and simple. And we might overpay on a potential. They're not going to want to loan them out for 6 months when those are good players for those respective clubs. They're going to want to sell them for a profit so they can get something in return. Whereas with this Timo Werner deal, we are going to be paying 100% of his wages as per all these fucking sources. But everyone's saying it's 200 grand a week. It's 165. Hugo was on 120, I think it was.
On Capology, it says he's getting paid £200,000 a week.
And then there was something else.
From
salary, I just Googled Timo Werner salary.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So one of them's right, somewhere between 165 and 200k. He's not cheap, but you know what? We're not going to worry about it either way. If he comes in and it just sucks, all right. Well, we've got an option off the bench. If he comes in and bangs, then awesome. It's
I just
January
Googled
the
it again to
6th. Everyone
see.
looks like it needs a beer. I've had 2, but they're non-alcoholic.
Yeah, it was salarysport.com that I clicked on. I see Capology here. I'll share the tab. Hang on. So this one here, Salary Sport, says Timo Werner earns 164 pounds per week, 8.528 mil a year for Leipzig.
Yeah, but so it's the same. So if you go to Capology, it also says 164 or 190,000 euros, but then there's bonuses of like 36,000 in there as well, which might not be reflected by Salary Sport. So it evens out to be about 200k. But whatever, either way, whatever, doesn't matter. A lot of money.
I mean, I think if he does well, it's a masterclass. If he doesn't do shit, and it is what it is, and you can go back to Germany, you know. I just don't see it as a big threat to anything. Real quick, big up Moss Chops with the first super chat of the day. Says it's January 6th, and Sean looks like he needs a beer. One of them Sean, I support what you're doing. I want you to know that, and I'm proud of you, buddy.
Thanks, man. I'll be honest, it's tough. It is tough.
Yeah, like anything in life.
Every time
we have
I
our
sit
vices
there,
and habits, and
yeah, the last 6 days, every time I sit there and kind of go, something, I don't feel satisfied. Something's missing. What is it? And I go, oh yeah, it's that tipsy feeling. It's that feeling of how being 3 beers in at lunchtime, you know, because I get up early, I get my work done for my business, but like by about midday, and then I'm like, okay, let's dial into a couple of cheekies, you know. But
yeah. Hey, growth is hard. Look at what's going on with Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham Hotspur. Growth, change, it's hard, it's difficult, but I think once we all get to the other side of it, if we do it successfully, we'll be all the more prouder of the journey. So I'm proud of you from friend to friend. I want you to know that I'm proud of you. So
thank you,
big up Moss Chops. Appreciate the super chat. But everyone, also, I saw you on the during your watch along when we were playing yesterday. I saw someone in the chat was like, go on, Sean, you know you want a beer. Like, y'all be supportive of the man. Be supportive. Don't be that. You know, in like Tom and Jerry, you got the little angel and the little devil. Try to be the angel. Yeah. Try to be the little angel. And big up to Callum Roche as well.
I've got to do it. I've got to do it. Like my liver needs a breather. I do it every January, so this isn't the first time. I do it like twice a year. I do it once in January, once in May. I usually go the whole month, but yeah, the first 2 weeks are the hardest. So
I know your organs are thanking you. Your liver's appreciating the little break. So
do you drink? You don't drink very much, do you?
No, I will on special occasions. Like my wife's birthday, I'll have a glass of champagne. I mean, it is New Year's Eve too, so
yeah, right.
Outside of that, that's really like the one time a year. Or if I get together with my father-in-law, we'll get rambunctious. He'll convince me to get a couple whiskeys. I'm a completely different person when I drink. So, and I've known that since I was a underage minor drinking and getting in trouble. That alcohol does something different. And I just got to an age where like the hangovers were no longer worth it. I no longer liked waking up at 5 a.m. retching and dry heaving because I wanted to have 6 extra shots last night because it was fun. And I got to a point where I was like, this is no longer worth the damage it does to me, and in a feeling sense. So it's not as like much of a personal growth. It was more of like, I'm a baby. I don't want to be hungover. So that's why I'm so keen on hydration. Man. Even when I do drink, I
think my body kind of is like adjusted to the fact where like I'm like, because I occasionally, like there's been occasional times in my YouTube career where I've made a complete mess of myself. I've been hitting the vodka and I go on a stream drunk and I act like an absolute bozo. And then you wake up the next day and you're not only feeling hungover, but you also have that absolute like, oh no, what did I do? What did I say? And then you go back and watch it back and you go, oh, and you just want the world to kind of swallow you up. So those days always, but normally I just have like 2 or 3 beers, but my body's got used to those days. I don't really feel hungover. But you know what? This morning, I woke up this morning and because I had like 10 espressos yesterday trying to test this machine. I had the proper, like the way I felt this morning waking up was worse than any hangover I can remember in the last year because of the amount of caffeine I had. I'm just not used to that. So
yeah, and then once you like don't have caffeine just constantly pumping, you get these headaches. I've been getting headaches of caffeine. But moving it along, we got a super chat. keeping Jacob on subject here again. When I started the channel, I had a co-host named Michael. He was very good at keeping me on topic, and we work together in real life, so he's seen how my brain works live and direct, and he was always very good at keeping the subject. But hey, Moss Chops with the super chat got my attention. Says, all joking aside, big up Moss Chops. Says, I think Timo's an excellent piece of business.
Yeah.
From a business side, Sean, you're very well known in the YouTube hemisphere for being adept at talking the business side. From a price standpoint, from a investment standpoint, how do you see it? Is it? I agree. I think we both agree. I actually know how you feel. I know what your answer is going to be, but I just want to hear you talk through your thought process when you assess this, like risk, value. I mean, how do you really put a price on risk versus reward? And where do you kind of see it from a standpoint? What, 15, 20 million euros and he's ours if we want him after 6 months?
Assume that we're not going to. Let's assume that he's not going to do enough to. Because for me, like in order for us to trigger the option, he has to really hit it out of the park, right? He has to score, double digit goals and meaningful goals, not the fourth goal when you're 4-0 up or 3-0 up, but like the winner in a couple of tight games. Like he has to be meaningfully impactful. Plus, I think he has to, get some assists as well and just look like he's transformed. So I don't expect that to happen. That's not what my expectations of him are. So I'm just looking at it basically as a stopgap for 5 months from here till May, which is it's going to cost us about £6 million, right, in salary. If it's 200 grand a week, that's about a million a month, give or take. So about £5 or £6 million is what it's going to cost us, plus whatever the loan fee is. If we have to pay Leipzig a couple of million or something, let's kind of just be generous and say it's going to cost us £8 million to have him for 5 months.
Yeah.
What does it have to be for valuation in order to be value for money? I think his impact needs to be the difference between a position in the league. Right, so his value should be, if we finish, the difference between 4th and 5th is going to be 50 million quid in revenue for Tottenham. So if he's responsible for, or at least contributes enough to get us there, like by scoring a winner against Man United, or to scoring a winner against Brentford that we wouldn't otherwise have got, so that's an extra 3 points that will be the difference in a position in the league, then he's paid for himself. I don't have expectations for him to come in and score, 15 GA. If he does, fantastic. But for me, it's just about contribution.
10 GA. I saw a comment from Musings of a Football Fan says, I'd be happy if he gets 10 GA, then it will be worth it. If he gets 10, 15 across all competitions, some of those help us in a FA Cup run. To me, this is a masterstroke of business, because it's just like we walked in and we lucked up with it. And again, a guy that's been written off already in the Premier League, I would assume has something to prove. If Ange Postecoglou has written off on it, he's had a conversation with this guy and at least can approach and say, I can vouch for his mentality. I can vouch that he's got his head on right and he wants to embrace this challenge. But big up Donovan, big up everybody who's tapping in. There's over 300 people in the house. Make sure you are liking the video and subscribe. I do appreciate everyone who is here, new and old. Hotspur Hippie says the double is on. It is most in fact on, but probable, maybe not. But it is in fact on, and it is not on, like a light switch. Sean, let me ask you. I didn't actually get to talk to you too much post match from that Burnley match. But real quick, Burnley, what were your thoughts on it? And if we had Timo Werner, could this game have been different for us?
I thought the game was terrible, if I'm honest. I think everybody was flat. I thought Burnley were flat. I thought we were flat. I thought the crowd looked, from what I couldn't hear it, but from what I heard afterwards from people that were at the game, the crowd was flat, which is odd because FA Cup, it's Friday night. You'd have thought people would have had beers, although it is January, so maybe there's more people on dry Jan. I don't know, but like it just felt like it was flat, and it makes me wonder whether or not, like, my generation and higher, people that are 40 and older, I think they have a higher love. I mean, Paul's in the chat, Hotspur Hippie, right? He loves the FA Cup.
Oh yeah,
I love the FA Cup, but I'm not sure.
Kuva loves the FA Cup.
Kuva loves the FA Cup. Dermot loves the FA Cup. I'm not sure if necessarily, the generation younger than me have the same affinity with it. and I'm not sure if the players care about it as much, because I don't know whether their contracts are shaped by incentives around they'll get paid more, or they care more about things where they get to show off their talents, like the Champions League. I feel like there's just a general prioritization from all parts of the not just at Tottenham. I think this is spread across the football in general. Lower league teams and their fans absolutely love the FA Cup, the chance to play against the Premier League team, etc. But I'm just not sure if there is the same like energy for it from people that are probably like, I don't know, in their 20s or.
Well, I bet
you kids don't care about the FA Cup.
Yeah, and I mean, I know for a fact if we were to win it this year, if I go on a Rivals show, they will demean it. They will talk about how they'll belittle it, right? They will. That's just naturally going to happen. But I don't care about that. And all the names that you mentioned who do care about the FA Cup, outside of all that, and respectfully to all of them, I care about the FA Cup. When I look at our history, and I take pride in Tottenham Hotspur's history before I was born, before I was a fan, I still take pride in that because that's my club's history. And this was once a cup that people said was ours to win every year.
Hey, it's what our success is built on. When people think of Tottenham and the success that we have had, people think it's the cup, right? We won 8 of them, 9 of them, 8 of them.
And I would also say a good thing is regardless of how you or anyone feels, I think yesterday, at least, what do you think? Did it tell us how Ainge feels? Is he taking it seriously, you think? That was our strongest lineup.
Furious, wasn't he? He seemed so angry afterwards. Angry.
Yeah, he was pissed.
He was really upset, But I think he takes it seriously. I definitely do. And also, he put the strongest team out, which I was so happy with. When I saw that, I was like, "Wow, yeah, cool. We're taking this." I was
very pleased. Oh, I was so happy. There was a lot of fans too that were saying, "Oh, start Fraser Forster, give Vicario a break, bro."
What was that about?
Why does a goalkeeper need 9 days before Manchester United? I don't know.
Yeah, 100%.
Real quick, I got a super chat here from Chris Pistol. Very interesting last name, Chris Pistol. Pistol Pete. Arsenal fan here. I rate Spurs' ambition at the start of the window so far. In my opinion, he fits your system perfectly. I'd prefer us to move fast like y'all. Sean, I'm talking in January. A rival fan says, I wish we moved fast like y'all at Tottenham Hotspur. What do you think about that?
First around here, Chris. we don't move fast normally. This is the first.
I'm remembering Pedro Porro going 31 days down to the wire.
Yeah. But you know what's going to be sad is if we do sign. Let's say Dragusin comes in tomorrow morning. Let's say that Here We Go is done or whatever. Who's flying to London for a. Then what are we going to talk about for the next 25 days? We're not going to be doing too much more business after that, right? So,
I would want to see at least one more true.
I think it's going to be dependent on like a Højbjerg leaving, because I don't think we got.
Did Højbjerg look uninterested yesterday from your standpoint?
Yeah.
I thought outside of that one save moment that he had where he kind of saved us, outside of that, I thought his passing, he just here you go. Who the fuck wants it? Go ahead and take it. I didn't like that at all, personally.
That guy. Yeah. I thought Højbjerg. I think it's telling that Højbjerg is beneath Skip in the pecking order. Can we all agree that a motivated Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is better than a motivated Ollie Skip? Can we agree with that or not?
Yeah, we saw an unmotivated Højbjerg play as equal. I was going to say as equal to Oliver Skip. He was unmotivated as hell, and Skip's always motivated. That's the thing that you think of when you think of Skip, an eager beaver. Hey, go run through that wall over there. Yes, sir. And he'll run through it without asking questions. Big up Tommy G. Look, I know a lot of our fans value the FA Cup. Mud FC says FA Cup winner gets Europa League group stage. No?
Yeah, Carabao Cup winner gets the Conference League.
But do you get that money? No. So if we were to qualify for Europe with our league position, do we get the same amount of money as if we qualify for Europe through FA Cup winning?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't Levy be motivated? Let's assume that he's not, right. That's why we've been so shitty. And
you don't get that much. You don't get that much money for qualifying for the Europa. Like you get a lot more money if you just to qualify for the Champions League group stages. I think you get something like 15 million quid, and then I think you get a lot. Obviously, I think it's like £2.5 million per win, like 800 grand per draw, and then nothing for losses in the group stages of the Champions League. but I don't think you get very much at all for qualifying for the Europa League. I think you still get money when you win or draw in the group stages, and then you obviously get prize money the more you progress through. But I don't think you get as much money. But yeah, it's an interesting point. Yeah, there probably is more money. People think, oh, the FA Cup's only worth 1.5 million to the winner or whatever it is. So it's not the incentive, but it is a good point that man makes.
I've never seen this name in the chat. It says, I'd be uninterested if Skip played before me too. Oh my goodness. I've got another surprise guest who will be joining. He just joined the back and then he gave me the old 1 second and then he disappeared. So potentially he'll be back. Mark Cook saying, any news on Tomori and Dragusin? Now the Tomori news was news to me when I heard you talking about it. What was it? I haven't been on Twitter enough in the last couple hours.
Just that Tottenham. Well, no, Tomori's actually interested in. Basically everybody apart from us have been linked with Tomori, and then someone else has just connected the dots. So it was just like someone on Twitter, like Spurs Express or someone saying Tottenham are linked with Tomori. But if you type in Tomori into Google and hit the news tab, you'll see over the last week, Arsenal have been linked, United have been linked, Newcastle have been linked, Chelsea have been linked, but not Tottenham. So it's a strange one that Tottenham are looking for homegrown and looking for centre-backs, and yet he wasn't linked with Tottenham, but now he is. I think everyone's looking for centre-backs, mate.
Yeah. The market is thriving right now, so to speak. Bogosian says, am I missing something? Werner is just a replacement for Valise. That's all. Valise is going to, I doubt we'd even see Valise get any minutes for the rest of this season. If I'm honest, 3 months minimum, major ligament damage to his knee. Is my guest in the background? Is he ready? He's picking his boogers. He's giving me a thumbs up. Loving the thumb. Keep that thumbs up, my guy. Let me see it. There he is. We got Paul the Hotspur hippie.
How you going, man? How you going, Sean?
Oh, I'm all good, man. How you doing?
How you doing, Paul? You all right?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I think I was.
What's your initial thoughts?
I think I'm the only one that enjoyed the FA Cup game yesterday. Everyone else is on a bit of a downer about it, but I thought it was great.
I enjoyed the result. I enjoyed the Pedro Porro goal. I enjoy the end product. I think the process of it yesterday, like at the very end, I remember on my post-match show after I was on Spurs Talk Show, I said, I'm kind of reflecting on what I said on Sean's show, and I'm kind of disappointed because I guess maybe I was so close. It was so close to after the final whistle that I was still kind of frustrated with Brennan Johnson, frustrated with Richarlison, frustrated with Oliver Skip and a lot of the circumstances. I was frustrated still where I hadn't really sat back and said, you know what? I mean, we are through to the next round. And I think at the end of the day,
not frustrated with Pedro Porro though, eh? What a goal! What a goal,
that
man!
Right foot. I ain't frustrated with Pedro Porro's right foot. I'll tell you what. Sean, Paul, you're showing everyone here that you're not actually in the studio. I see your flap there.
Oh, flapping. Sorry. Hang on.
Look at that. He's in the studios now, not under the sheen of production. But
don't worry about that,
from the FA Cup. Yeah, don't. Let's go away from the FA Cup a little bit. Paul, what's your initial thoughts on Timo Werner getting him on a 6-month loan deal?
Well, look, the only thing I know is what you and Sean have been saying, so I don't know really. So you two seem positive, so I'm positive too. Seems good. Sean says it's good. I'm happy. Yeah. Bugger it. Why not?
I'm happy with it.
Okay. Well, then it's got to be good, isn't it?
Look at that. Drunk Vigo ask and you shall receive. I don't know about Kuva. I think he's a little busy. I got an interesting question here that I did want to make sure I went through. Sean Links says, Jacob, how are fans like yourself able to enjoy the match, study every player and pattern of play, and listen to what commentators are saying all at the same time? I struggle to process it all. Honestly, I wouldn't say live and direct. I'm studying, and I think I use my eyes to watch the match. Then afterwards, I look at the numbers. I look at numbers afterwards, and I allow those numbers to kind of either take away what I thought I knew or help accent what I am doing. Paul, I am hearing a little bit of an echo, I think, from your end. I don't know if you got the stream playing in the background or something.
Okay, I'll sort it out. Sorry, man.
Yeah, no worries. Let me see. Let me catch back up on the terrible business from Chelsea to sell Tomori. You do forget often that Tomori was a Chelsea product. Is there any likelihood, Sean, you think that we'll get Tomori in?
No. I think we've got our. I think it's going to be Dragusin, mate. And then I don't think we're doing anything else after that. I think we're gonna. I think that'll be it for the centre backs for the summer. You know, the other thing I always got to keep an eye on, like what's going on with the plan. We've signed Vescovic, right, who joins next January. So in a year's time, we're going to have he'll be 18 by then. And I don't know how good he's going to be. He's probably not one ready. He's probably going to be putting them the 21s or whatever. I'll go out on loan. But you've also got obviously Ash Phillips and Dorrington to come through as well. Everyone wants to have this youth team system and celebrating this, hopefully, this maturity coming through. And we're going to have this beautiful team for years to come. But then at the same time wants to go, well, Dragusin's not enough. I also want to go and get Todibo, and I also want to go and get a left back, and I also want to go and get a right back, and I also want to go and get another midfielder. At some point, you have to think about in the terms of midfield. Do you want to go out and get 2 more midfielders when you've got Alfie Devine to come back next year, who's kicking ass at Port Vale? Maybe he'll be ready for us. Maybe he'll need another year. What about Jamie Donnelly? What about we've got Mikey Moore in a couple of years' time? At some point, we have to keep a pathway for these kids to have a crack at Tottenham. Otherwise, what is the point of having a youth team in the first place? So I'm sorry, I'm rambling, man. Too much coffee. But for me, I feel like the
Sean, when you ramble, I think the rate at which you talk is good for my ADHD because I can easily pay attention to you when you ramble. So for whatever that's worth.
You're on mute, Paul.
Yeah, Paul, you're on mute.
I was just saying, I can keep up with Sean as well. Just keep going, man.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't. I don't think you ramble.
It's
if
like
you
Spurs
do, I have a
easy.
lovely clip that I'll play if anyone rambles too long, and here it is. So if you see this clip play, then you know I've reached my limit.
And the donkey's like, that's the donkey. You're a donkey.
Love that clip.
Yeah, listen, my point in summary, I think if we get Dragusin, then I think I'm happy. I'm happy with the centre back. I don't in an ideal world, yes, you'd have another one just in case, but we've got 3 really good centre backs, and Ben Davies has been really good. And I don't want to neglect him. I know he's out injured, but I think Ben Davies has been really good this year for us as a stand-in. So yeah, I'm happy then. I think we just got to twist our attention and look for certain solutions in other places. And I think, people like Højbjerg clearly probably want to move on. Ollie Skip's not it. So maybe and then there's question marks around Gio Lo Celso. He's only got 18 months left. So I don't know what we do there, but if
I hear Giovanni Lo Celso, that 18-month thing, I'm telling, let's see how the rest of this year goes, then we'll think about it in the summer. Assess him in the summer is kind of, because if he goes the next 18 matches and he has 18 or 12 GA, I think he might maybe look at the contract. Maybe that could help change my opinion on him. But 4 or 5 good games out of 5 years is not enough for me to say.
Man.
Yeah.
What's he got?
He's
got 2
hurt
goals
again.
in the Premier League. Got 2 goals. How many assists? He got 2 assists the other night against Bournemouth. What's his GA? What's Gio Lo Celso's GA this year? Must be 6, is it? Gio Lo Celso.
He has 2 goals and I think 3 assists, so probably 5. That's me guessing. I don't have it in front of me.
I'm looking it up now. He has. What? No, that's FA Cup. Not interested in that. Detailed performance data.
And big up everybody in the chat every single time. There's still over 320 of y'all. Make sure you are hitting a like on the channel if you don't mind. It's absolutely free. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I see 244 votes and 162 likes. So that's almost 100 people who voted but didn't like. Again, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. Just watch my shoes. All right?
He's only got 2 and 2 this year. 2 goals, 2 assists in 12 appearances across all competitions.
And in his 5 starts, I think 3 out of them were good. 1 was okay and 1 was not good. But 3 out of those 5 starts, we did not win. So I just think he's kind of like what you said, Timo Werner. Either way, he's just kind of a stopgap at this juncture. I don't want to sell him in January because I think we need a body.
You'd sell him in
I'd
the
sell
summer.
him in the summer. Hell yeah, I
I'd
would.
get rid of him.
'Cause I think
yeah.
that that's a better time where you can reassess. In January, unless we're getting 2 midfielders in, someone who can come in and play that box-to-box 8 like he's enjoying, I don't really. Again, you know, when Basuma comes back, I think Lo Celso loses his job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, of course. Once we're fully fit, Lo Celso's right back to the bench.
I've not been impressed with him
real
at all,
quick.
really.
Yeah, I've been. Hey, big up Mountain Bushman in the house every single time.
I hear people saying, "Oh, you know, we should bring Gio Lo Celso on for a bit of creativity," and it's like, what is that? Is that creative? Really? I don't know, man. He hasn't done enough for me either.
He did well. There was the game where I think he had the 2 passes that led to our 2 goals versus Everton. I think it was. He had a great pass to Son. He has moments where he has great passes and moments where he does get stuck in, and I start to think maybe we could use this guy. But then there's other moments like yesterday where I saw him just kind of not doing that great.
Nothing.
Some of the passes, it was like he would give it back and then win it. And then it was like, well, good, you won it, but just don't give it away next time. Or he'd do the opposite, and just always very frustrating to me. But big up Zapur, member for 4 months, says, drag who? Royale's got this. Just kidding. But I've been happy with him, though. Look, Emerson Royale, I think what we saw yesterday is probably the best we're going to see out of him. Wasn't a bad performance. Yesterday I did give him my man of the match for yesterday's performance personally. But
Will you guys
big
excuse
up
me for
Zapur,
2 minutes? I just got to call someone. Is that right? I'll come back in a couple of seconds.
Yeah. No worries, man. I'll go ahead. We'll do this. Boom. Look at that. Paul, now we are actually in the studio together.
Yeah.
Look at
Chewy's
that.
doing all right. Half a Chewy.
Do you see Chewy? Oh, you can see him.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, your half is doing good?
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Keeping it together, you know.
Quinny, what I would say, Eze and Elise would be nice to have, although good luck getting both of them. Good luck. That's really all Crystal Palace has. A guy on Twitch is really talking. Uncle with the long beard, I need advice.
Don't ask me, man. Don't ask me for advice. Fucking hell, you'll end up looking like me, man. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Big up Dan Davenport in the house. Big up. Look. Timo Werner. I feel like I could go on and on. Do you remember him with Chelsea though, Paul? Do you remember
really,
the Timo Werner we saw with Chelsea? He
No.
was most infamous for just getting absolutely obliterated on social media by their fans. He would get a great opportunity, open net, one-on-one with the keeper, and he messed it up every single time. But there were some people who were pumping in his stats into the chat, and the stats actually weren't as bad as I thought they were. Look, again, I think if this guy can give us 6 months of something, that's better than what our other business options were, which were to not get anyone or to buy somebody.
If Chelsea fans hate him, maybe he's all right, you know, because they're ignorant fools. And hopefully Chelsea are going to be battered down to the 2nd division next year for cheating like Manchester City. They're all cheats, man.
Big up Faz Radfar. Says annoyed 3 ex Arsenal players for Spurs match on ITV.
Yeah, man, that's not cool, eh?
Yeah, Lee Dixon, another dude, and another
Ian
dude.
Wright. Shocking. Why do they do it? We just want to see Spurs players when you're watching a Spurs game, especially a cup game.
Or maybe unbiased. Maybe not someone who played for our direct rival and has blood in the game. You know, that'd be my first guess. But big up Faz Radfar. Appreciate that super chat. Trigger says that Werner played 58 games with 48 GA for Chelsea.
What's
and that
GA?
was goals and assists. So he contributed to 48 goals in 58 games.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
It's not bad. It was just all the opportunities that he missed. I think that kind of overshadow the good things that he did.
Strikers always miss more than they get. That's what makes a good striker. They always back themselves. They're never frightened to have a go. Jimmy Greaves, that's what he used to say. He missed far more goals than he got, but he kept on going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I was talking about this, Paul, from an Ainge Postecoglou perspective, and I'm glad you're here because I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are. If Ainge spoke to him, had a conversation with the guy and said, I write off on this, clearly he's got the right attitude.
That's right, then. I'm in.
And then my second thought here was, if he came to the Premier League, had all this hoopla around him. I was one of the people, I was very scared when Chelsea signed him because I saw what he was doing at Leipzig and I thought, wow, I'd love that player in our team. Saw what he did with Chelsea. I was part of the group that made fun of him, that thought it was funny to poke fun at the guy because he was missing chances, and obviously he's a Chelsea player. But I see it a few ways from this perspective. Like, Chelsea put a lot of pressure on their number 9 specifically, and this guy is kind of what they brought in to score those goals. And I think we don't need him to come in and score those goals. We're not putting all this pressure on you have to come in and you have to score those goals. We need him to help facilitate and help get us up. Yeah. And like everyone, you know, I was arguing this point with HUSAM on This Is Football earlier, and I said, like, I don't think that he's necessarily going to be the guy who is the key to unlocking a low block. You know, when we're doing the horseshoe around the box, trying to find a way, and you have Richarlison standing there, and then another guy standing there. Everyone's just kind of standing there. When you have give it to Porro outside the box firstly. Sam saying, yo, that's your setup. Who's on the top right? He's in the studios here with me now. He's got the same setup as me. He's in the studios here now. Don't you dare move the curtain. But he's in the studios right here now, Sam. But look, I don't need Timo Werner to be the key to Paul.
Sorry, man.
You see what you're doing here? You're really ruining the production value on this. Come on. We have a standard here to uphold. Egal Talks Football says, hey guys, another former Chelsea player to finish above Chelsea. You know, that'd be funny. That's actually a nice little friendly dig at them because Mason Mount, he's going to finish higher than Chelsea. Kai Havertz is going to finish higher than Chelsea, and Timo Werner, we should be finishing higher than Chelsea. It'd be very fun. Appreciate that. Big up everybody in the house. What's Sam saying? He's texting me again. Big up for Sam again. Congratulations on the 25K. He says, I'm asking, who is that? Is he a relative? Yeah, man, Paul's family. Yeah. Not sure mother or father's side, but he's family. His name's Paul. He's with the Hotspur Hippie. And, I did this because it was just me. And I did
my uncle.
Yeah. There's his name, the Hotspur Hippie. I'm going to be adding his channel to the title, so make sure you are subscribed to both of my beautiful guests. Boom. Oh, let me see if I can take out some of the, I'm changing the title as we speak, so that way I can make room for Paul's title there. There we go. It is in the title. Hotspur Hippie. Oh my God. You have figured it out. It is him. It is he, the one and only. Big up everyone. Do as HUSAM is saying. Everyone like and subscribe to the channel. Still over 300 of y'all. We are on an hour on the show. So big up to every one of you. This is, quite frankly, one of the most popping shows as far as views go, which shout out, This Is Football for the redirect. But even with the redirect, there's still about 200 of y'all that piled on in here to talk about Timo Werner. So big up, everybody.
Jacob, I saw a little bit of a transformation in you yesterday. Because I did a watch along to the game on my own, and I was quite happy with it. And then I looked at kind of the Spurs-osphere, and I saw that people just generally weren't happy with it. And then you were sort of a bit like that. And then when you when you did your own stream yesterday, it was like, yeah, we won. So it was interesting how I don't know. I think the more I just game of football to everyone else.
The game of football specifically, Paul, did frustrate me. Brennan Johnson,
Right,
10
okay.
touches. Brennan Johnson, 10 touches. They put up a graphic. This isn't me being some fucking whiz kid statistician guy watching
is
the
weird,
game.
isn't it?
They put up a
It's-
graphic on the damn screen, and I screenshot it because I was like, I want to know what time this is during the game because it's a very interesting stat. And it was 37 minutes, 42 seconds into the match. Brennan Johnson had 10 touches in the opposition's box. Richarlison had 4, and there were a couple other with 3. 20 fucking touches in the opponent's box in the first 37 minutes and no goal is frustrating. But what it does tell me is that the system is working. It's just the players who we have in certain aspects of the system is not
That's it,
working.
man.
Because Brennan Johnson was getting into these positions because of the system. Richarlison was getting these touches into the box because of this system. Richarlison should have had 2 goals in the first 30 minutes. Brennan Johnson could have had a goal in the first 30 minutes. 10 touches. Should have. Come on. Do something. And that's why after the match and on Spurs Talk Show I was on, and I wasn't really thrilled. I was like, I think Sean asked, he said, what is something that is positive from this match? And I was like, Vicario, clean sheet, defenders, clean sheet. You know, we got a clean sheet and we have 4 fullbacks out there. Donnelly getting minutes and he looked like he was willing to run more than some people. That was nice. But then, you know, as I got on my own channel, I really started deep in it. And I was like, bro, we're through to the next round. There's Premier League teams that at this time next week, they're not going to be through to the next round in the FA Cup. That is what we've all been clinging on to as our last final hope of, you know, I know you like to say the double is on, but realistically, I can confidently say we should and could and might potentially, very, very potentially get a good cup run and challenge for the whole damn thing. Because we played Burnley. That's one Premier League team out. Liverpool play Arsenal. That's another Premier League team out. We're going to be Premier League teams are getting knocked out this round.
Yeah,
and
at
that's
least
only
3
going to
of
be
them,
good
aren't
for
they?
us long term.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
I thought
like
it was a fun game. I thought, you know what I really liked? I get it how people were frustrated with what we did when we had the ball, but we were up Burnley. We got the ball off them so many times. We made Burnley go the long ball. You know, we made them change their game. We didn't have to change our game. And I love the way after we went 1-0 up, we still kept on going for another goal. So I had a great laugh watching it.
Yeah, I had a great time. And again, at the end of the day, Paul, let's just say we win the FA Cup. Are we going to give a shit that we look like ass versus Burnley? I'm not.
No, don't matter. Don't matter.
I'm not. Let's see if we can get some. Hey, we're through to the next round. Confetti. Let's see if we could. Wait, it's this one for balloons. Let's see if we can get some balloons to the party. There we go. Lovely balloons. Paul, I haven't quite worked out the software yet, so when you flip it off to get a bunch of middle fingers to fly up, I think that'd be pretty sick. That's the next step here. Like Tom81 says, cup football is all about getting through to the next round. Big up Kuva. I'm going to read this in just 1 second, but anytime I see Kuva's name in the chat, I know y'all don't know this, but anytime I see Kuva's name in the chat, I do what I just did, and I send them the link, because if Kuva has 5 minutes to spare and he wants to give 5 minutes to the show, he's always welcome to do so. Kuva, he's always got a seat at this table. Says, big up Jacob, Paul, and Sean. Werner got 10 goals, 9 assists, and 56 league games for Chelsea. He was ridiculed by almost everyone and has a low light reel that most players can't match in a career. Sounds like Kuva's not very excited about this signing, if I'm reading this correctly. Is that how you're reading it too, Paul?
No, I think he's excited. He was really. He's got a low light reel that most players can't match. So he's saying he's good. I think maybe Kuva should come on and clarify his stance on the whole Werner situation.
Yeah, Kuva.
He's back.
Let's get a clarifying
He's back in his
stance
commode.
here, Kuva.
His big luxury commode.
Yeah,
I don't
Jeff
know if I
Fusion was like,
care
wasn't
anymore.
expecting.
I feel like I might donate it.
Why? Everyone loves the chair, man. You're killing it
It's
in the chair.
fantastic, man.
Yeah, well, that was the point. I wanted the chair was I thought everyone would hate it. now that people like it.
You're doing the Gary Neville thing.
Yeah. No, I'm only
Doing
kidding.
the.
It's the most comfiest chair I've ever had, and as a big heavy guy, like gaming chairs are not it. They're like so thin. They can't help. Use them.
Sean, let me ask you. We haven't talked anything about this Jota guy who's trying to get out of Saudi Arabia on the next flight. Any chance we get Jota? Look, if we end up Dragusin, Werner, Jota, is that a decent January window?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we're going to get Jota now that we've got Werner. I don't
think we will.
It depends on how you want to use Werner, because he's utility, right? He can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play in the middle, can play in the second striker, the false nine. But I'd be surprised if you were to get two lines, because we've got a chock-a-block squad of non-homegrown players. So you have to not register Ivan Perisic. And I know Ange said that he's played his last game for us, so that's devastating, because I would like to see him back, if I'm honest. But Eric Dyer, Hugo Lloris, and Perisic is 3 out. If you're bringing in Dragusin and Count Dracula. No, sorry, Dragusin and Timo Werner. Then you need. I suppose you would have space for one more, but I don't know if it will be Jota. I like Jota. I do like Jota, but I think that ship has probably.
I think his wages are high though, aren't they? Like he's on like nearly 200 grand a week in Saudi Arabia. So
tough. You know what? Who should be on 200 grand a week for all the things he does and just the kind of human being that he is?
No way.
What a delight.
He's not here, is he?
What a delight.
No way.
For us. And how blessed is the chat right now to be graced by the presence of the one, the only, Kuva.
I got the build-ups. They're better than the content. No, I came because I was obviously invited, enticed on by Jacob's voice. Love the vibes of Paul's hat and the beard's obviously a great beard game. But I came for Shawnee's chair because I'm quite serious, mate. I'm thinking of getting something like that for next season.
Yeah, it looks great. I love it.
These computer chairs are not comfy.
They're not it, are they, Kuva? They're not it.
They're not.
I've been saying it to you ever since I've known you, Kuva. I've been talking about building a company called BigFatGamingChairs.com, right? That is made for, it keeps the shape of a gaming chair, but it's made with a couple of inches extra wide on the side and a nice deep bucket soft cushion. Yeah. Sort of like if a gaming chair is like economy on Ryanair, then the thing I've got in my mind is like club class British Airways, a little bit wider, a little bit more recline, a little bit deeper, and a lot more expensive.
I'm all for it. I mean, I practically need a sofa at the moment.
It's like Colin Baker's Doctor Who, but I like Colin Baker.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to disagree on that, but I like the snazzy colours.
It's just the script writers, Kuva. It's just the script writers. Colin was all right.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, actually, no doubt.
Kuva,
anyway,
I'm really interested to hear. Yeah, this is talk to me. Comment, not the most glowing comment now, Kuva. And I was interested. One of my thoughts was how get up here and atone for your crimes, Kuva. No, clearly, no. Tell me why you feel the ways that you do. How do you see this going? Why isn't it a good piece of business, or do you feel that way?
Well, I just remember him at Chelsea. We talk about Richarlison being terrible at finishing. At Chelsea, Timo Werner was a one-man low-light reel, I should say. Should say on how not to finish your dinner. He would miss absolute sitters game after game after game. Everybody was ridiculing. Chelsea kept dropping him. He was a laughing stock. He really was. We're saying how much of a waste of money he is. Now, why are we buying him then? When clearly what we need is somebody who is clinical and can put the ball away. He's just another one adding to a pile of forwards we got, bar Sonny, that struggle to put the ball away. It's the complete opposite of what we're after. Surely, we need a regular sort of 20 goals a season striker. We don't have that. If you take Sonny out of the team, ironically, if we'd kept Kane this season, my God, how we would have been, we would have been so high up above everything.
We'd have an average of 3 goals, 4 goals a game, I think, was what it would come out to.
Yeah.
No,
I just don't. For me, we put way too much value in somebody's athletic ability and their work rate, and somewhere along the line, the actual talent gets forgotten about. If you're playing as a forward, you've got to provide either goals or tons of assists. I just don't see it from him. He had his golden moment when he was at Leipzig the first time, and since he's gone back to Leipzig, he's done okay. Nowhere near his first stint, though. This is a player that has just underachieved for at least 4 years now. The only thing going for this deal is it's a loan. So if we don't take up the option to buy, I suppose no harm done. But to expect him to come in and do well, I just don't see it. Maybe, just maybe, he can get something out. Big Ange gets something out of him, find some way in this system to make it work. That could be a absolute masterstroke if it works. But I'm not going to get my hopes up on it, certainly. He's proved to be really wasteful in front of goal and over a long period now.
Oh, that's fair. And I like that there's someone with a little bit of a differing opinion, because personally, I'm kind of like, I agree. And I see the things you're saying, Kuva, and I see what you're saying, because there were time after time, chance after chance that he missed. But in 6 months, Kuva, like, I'm looking at it like a business transaction. We're getting this guy, no risk, 6 months, could come in and do what we saw at Chelsea, get goals that necessarily are easy to get, which is kind of the goals we're scoring right now, which are also the goals that we set up. But in 6 months, maybe this guy can actually contribute. And I'm not saying be the guy to unlock a defense. We don't need individual brilliance like a Harry Kane. We work our goals through the team. And if he is just threatening on a side or through the middle, I think is better than having Brian Hill threatening. It's better than, and a lot of people have said this is our Alejo Veliz replacement. Now, I would say you could probably get that replacement from the academy and save yourself 165 grand a week. But he showed there was a reason that people wanted him. There was a reason why people wanted him. And I think Chelsea showed why we all wanted to laugh at Chelsea. Like, again, I don't think he's a great player. I don't think he's this guy that's going to come in and get us 18 and 18. But if he gets us 10 and 18 in a supplemental role while Sonny's gone to Asia games, while we're dealing with getting our squad fully 100%, I like the business. Again, he comes in and shows us exactly what he showed at Chelsea. I still think that is a benefit to us, because if he can just have that pace and even just open the defense in the same manner with his pace, I think it could help us in a team sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely off. I'm looking at Kuva shaking his head, and
I just don't. Yeah, we've all got our opinions, and the fact is, we're not going to know until we see it, are we? So it obviously is up in the air. But I can only go on what I've been seeing of him over the last few years. I mean, before he came to Chelsea, I only really knew the name. I'd seen him a couple of times in Champions League, but he looked really exciting before he arrived. But having spent a couple of years in the Premiership and consistently been terrible at it, I don't see why he would be good suddenly the second time. Put it this way. If the players were still at a reasonable age, would you welcome back a Soldado because he has a good record in Spain? I wouldn't. Would you welcome back
arms, man?
Well, yeah, would you welcome back a Fernando Torres? When he was at Liverpool, he was sensational. When he went to Chelsea, he'd already lost form and he was terrible. But if he was still fit now, would you welcome him back? Because I wouldn't. Well, maybe over Richarlison, but that's something else. I think Werner's got some attributes we could use, but I mean, it's the same attributes I see with the likes of Brennan Johnson. We are severely lacking somebody with just that killer instinct in front of goal. This
Clive
is
Allen.
No, when you do say we could have him as competition with Brian Hill, I'll agree with that, because I think Brian Hill's bloody terrible as well. I think he offers nothing. So I'd actually take Werner ahead of him. I think Brian Hill needs to go and develop
feel
into a man first because he's pint sized. He's a kid.
But I kind of feel like that's where we're at, Kuva, where we're just looking for some in this business. The 6-month loan with option, I think, reflects my thought process on it. Is we just need somebody that is better than what we got, that can do. He can do what Brian Hill does and more. So to me, that justifies enough to say we gotta get somebody. And Sean, I want to bring you in here. You were talking a little bit about, or we were talking about this, the lack of options in the market could dictate us to overspending on a gamble, overspending on a player, and then we're stuck with shit for 3 years, 4 years, whatever we end up signing him to. This, if we're stuck with shit, it's gone in 6 months. You know what I mean?
Sorry to interrupt. I've got to go take my mate to the airport. So I just popped on. Hope you're all doing well. Happy New Year. Happy FA Cup. Nice chair, Sean. Nice backdrop, Coover, as usual. And see you, Jacob. Peace and love, man. Come on, you Spurs.
Go subscribe to the Hotspur Hippie one time for the one times. And let me just read this super chat out real quick before we keep going along. Gambling says, low risk, high reward. Stop gap until summer unless he performs well. If he doesn't work, then that's where we'll send him back. Sell Richie, get someone for 10 times the skill plus 100 times the price. Big up Gambling. Appreciate the super chat, my friend. Sean, let me bring you in. I do got to run to the restroom real quick. I really got to take a wee, so I'll be back in about. I'm going to hear everything y'all say, so don't you worry. The eyes will still be upon you. But Sean, what do you kind of think about what Kuva's saying? And then I think this super chat kind of coincides with what I've been saying the entirety of this show. But where are you kind of stand with it?
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand where Kuva's coming from, or where he's coming from. I just think, for the same reasons I've outlined, won't go back through them again. I just think it makes sense in terms of there's no commitment. But also, I said earlier, I think one of the factors that we're overlooking here is we don't really have that many other options in that regard. Like this, I don't think there's going to be too many players that are available in January in that position. So we need help. We definitely need cover, because at the moment, if we were to lose Richie against Manchester United, or if he was to break down in training tomorrow, then we'd be starting Dane Scarlett, for the next 5 weeks, which is terrifying. So you need some help, and I don't think there's that many options available. Like, for all the other reasons, it's low risk, high reward, same as what Gambling's saying. I just think, look, it's not perfect. Is he going to work out? Maybe, maybe not. You could easily argue it's more likely that he won't be that great. But, there's a chance, it's probably 60-40 that he's not going to bang. But, the 40% is good enough. And also there's no commitment. And we desperately need someone. And I think he can offer us some angles, some options. And just hope that Ange can figure out a way to make it work, Coop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the part where we are definitely in a bit of a spot at the moment, aren't we? There's no doubt about it. We're paper thin on players. Some of the ones we got clearly aren't up to the job. Is it disastrous that we're getting him on loan? No. I just think even though I've been against sort of getting Jota, I'd prefer that as a signing. I just think there's a little bit more substance to his game than I've seen with Werner. I mean, it's a difficult one.
I think Jota's quite similar to Manuel Solomon, and we got Manuel Solomon coming back. So, better than Manuel Solomon, in my opinion.
Not exactly convinced by him either, are we? Manuel Solomon, even at Fulham, he was only making substitutes appearances. So, are we going to get somebody through of the quality we really want now? Probably not. That's the harsh truth, isn't it? So it's kind of I could go along with the TIMO WERNER signing, but it's like begrudgingly, because, we kind of need somebody. It's like putting chewing gum in the hole or a bit of sellotape over the broken spine of the book. It's not quite going to do the job, but maybe it gets you through. That's what it feels like to me anyway. I can't help that feeling. I mean, if we really want to look at building long-term, perhaps this is where we start looking at the academy players and just accept that, you know, the likes of Dane Scarlett may need to take his chance or something like that. But that's a brave step because, as you know, I will keep bigging up the fact that we're still in a title race as wild outsiders.
I think that's the problem, mate. I think if I'm honest, it's almost like, you know what? I always get told I'm a moron for saying this, but I'll still stick to it. I think that getting to the Champions League final when we did was too much too soon, and it was probably like a share price that goes up like Bitcoin or like something that goes parabolic too quickly. If it goes up, then it comes down, right? Like you're better off just having sort of slow and steady wins the race. And I feel like maybe part of the frustration here from people that are frustrated is that we've got an opportunity this year because of the season, the way it's panning out. No one's really pulling up trees. There's a chance. There might be a slim chance, but there is a chance to do something. And so people are looking for the club to recognize that and seize the moment and go big, even though if we were 8th or 7th and just pot along nicely, there'd be less expectation, but you'd see the progress and go, I can't wait till next season. But because there's a slim chance that something magical could happen this year, there's a little bit more added like craving for us to go for it. But I think that January still remains January. It remains a difficult time to do business. It remains a difficult market for strikers. It remains a challenge. And so that's just like an added variable that wouldn't, if we hadn't been as crazily successful in the first 10 games as we have been, then people wouldn't be maybe as frustrated with this window or the likes of Timo Werner being a stopgap for the time being, but not the long-term solution. And I think that in the summer, I don't see any scenario where Timo Werner does enough to get the purchase. You know, I don't think that's going to be made permanent. So I think that in the summer we will look to do what everyone wants us to do now. But
watch him get 18 and 18, and we're chomping their hand off. Watch him come cook. Watch him be so upset at all the slanderous media against him. He said, I watch United Spurs of America. I'm one of the 330 right now watching, listening to Kuva say he's not good enough. He's got a low light highlight reel. You couldn't even make. Do you think Kuva... No, you know what? Never mind. That's. I'm not gonna. I was gonna bring up Adama Traore.
Do you mind if I jump off? I'm falling asleep. I'm so tired. I'm having
no, not at all, man. Not at all. Not at all.
Sleep in the chair, Sean. It'll be cute.
I could. This is one of the
good for the show.
It's the yin and the yang of having a comfortable chair. Is that you could just be like that and then wake up and you go, oh shit, I'm still streaming.
Oh, go on. We can have a bet on whether you snore then.
Trust me, I snore, mate. You don't get to 20 stone and sleep quietly.
Yeah, tell me about it, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Big up, Sean. Big up, Spurs Talk Show. It is in the title of this video. Make sure you are subscribed to it if you have not already. Kuva, don't know how long I got you for. Don't know how long I'm going for, but I'm just kind of winging it right now as we're going.
Yeah, fair enough.
Still over 300
people
like a
natural
in the house.
lull. It's time to call it then, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, hell no. No way. I got plenty more to talk about.
No matter what. How long you been on for? Oh, an hour and 25. Hour and 25. Okay.
Hour 25. Yeah, hour 25.
So,
I'm going to bring in some of the viewers' comments here. It says, James Joris, longtime listener of the channel, says, first reaction, I was sour on this, but given it's alone and thinking how fast it took place, it was something Ainge wanted, and I have warmed up to it. Do you think, is there a point, Kuva, since, and this is great that you're still here because you provide the kind of counter thought here. Ainge wants him. At least he said that Ainge approved the deal, greenlit the deal. So I would assume that Ainge has spoken to him in some kind of capacity. Is that enough to sway you to change, maybe lighten up a little bit, or is it more, let me see what he's like after 3 to 5 matches, and then I'll see if I change, or he's going to be exactly who I thought he was?
Difficult one, because I think in Ange's position at the moment, he would greenlight an awful lot of players just to get physical bodies through the door, because we got that bigger injury list. So I think, he meets a certain level where it's not like, it's not like we're signing a non-league player, is it? So I think there's an element of that to it. Maybe he can see something in him that he thinks he's going to get the best out of. Perhaps he does look longer at it. I don't know. I can't answer that. I doubt anybody can. But if the fact is he's happy with him on loan for the rest of the season, fine, just go with it. I'm just putting forward my point of view. I don't think he's a very good player. I think he's a quick player, without doubt. I think he can cause the other team problems. But again, if there's no end result, it doesn't really mean anything, does it? I've seen Timo Werner. Yeah, when he has played elsewhere, he's been great. But in the Premiership, he has not been. I think that's a widely accepted opinion of him. He's got a lot of tools there in the box, but doesn't do anything. Kai Havertz has been another one for a long time. He's not lived up to the expectations. However, managers seem to see something in them. Maybe Arteta gets something out of Havertz. Maybe Big Ange gets something out of Timo Werner. Who knows? Proof of the pudding is in the eating, isn't it?
I did see something on Twitter, Kuva. It was like, Ainge is like, my manager said, it's not only challenging enough to get Richarlison scoring goals. No. Let's get another Premier League forward who struggles to get goals, and I'm going to get him scoring too. Now, I kept this comment up from Derek Smith here because I think this is an interesting point, and I'm just seeing how many comments can we get until we get Kuva on the side of Timo, which is where I'm trying to get him to go.
Comments, the comments won't do it. If he actually arrives and I see him pull on the shirt, then I'll get behind him. Because of course I want him to do well then. Always want my players to do well, but I just don't see the value in him compared to some other type of players. I mean, for me, I would be desperately looking for another one in this sort of Maddison kind of mould, that sort of guile type player with a killer through ball, an eye for something special. Timo Werner, I just don't see that.
But Timo Werner's, I think the versatility from Timo is that he can play on the front three. Through the middle is kind of where Leipzig's gotten glory with him. Chelsea tried him through the middle, left, right. Look, I don't think this is the guy to come in and try and
versatility. I mean, that doesn't mean a lot myself, does it?
No, I agree with you. I'm not saying that versatility is the end all be all. Like, you got to at least have quality at some ends of that versatile. Yeah. But if he's busting his gut trying to get into that Germany squad, because I think he was recently released from the Germany squad. They said he's not going to be, or he wasn't in their like most recent plans. If he wants to play in the Euros, which is his goal, he's going to be busting his gut for Spurs, like Derek Smith says here. And so I agree with you, Kuva. Like, no matter where you stand, even for me, I'm more just leaving myself open to him bringing me lots of joy, because I do compensate for the fact that it is a low risk, low reward loan. And I'm looking like, what other, like Jadon Sancho? I would have preferred Jadon Sancho, and we could have maybe got him on a 6-month loan. What other wingers / central forward? What other wingers central forward do you think we could have gotten on a 6-month loan that would be a step? Because I'm not thinking that this is a step up necessarily. This is like, like just like that little ledge that maybe just is a little bit of a, it's not like we're taking a step up with Timo Werner. We're just doing a little like a, One
of the beautiful things about being a fan is when you're asked questions like, who could we get in to do that role, is I can say, I have no idea. That's surely what our scouting department's for. They'll have a better idea than I will. I mean, I'd say 2-3 years ago, I was pretty up to speed on European football. I was watching a lot of Italian league, Spanish league, the Bundesliga, Eredivisie, and I could like pick out loads of players that I like the look of. But I've got to admit, last 2 or 3 years, I just haven't been doing that. I sort of watch Ajax games, not a lot more than that. Occasional Bundesliga, but I haven't got a lengthy list of players that I've been spotting now.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
Here's a good question, I think, to your points that you're making here tonight, Kuva. Love your points, by the way. Says the big question is, why are Leipzig happy to let him go on loan and in January for that? That must be indicative of something, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, haven't been watching him, but his second spell at Leipzig. But I had a little glance at what he's doing in terms of goals and assists, and it's nowhere near what it was the first time round. So his effectiveness, whether that's down to him as the player has deteriorated in quality, or whether it's just Leipzig are just not as good a team as they used to be, I can't answer that. A little bit of both, maybe. The big question is going to be not do we get him, but is he going to be any good? And nobody can answer that. Absolutely nobody can. You can just have an opinion on what you think you're going to see. But it has happened before. Players are suddenly at this amazing run of form by changing teams. It doesn't happen all that often, but it does sometimes. I agree with you, though. You can mention Jadon Sancho would have been exactly the same sort of signing for me. Somebody that offers a lot of positive attributes to a team, but hasn't, for one reason or another, been firing. I've got a feeling Sancho's more likely to want to go back to Dortmund, where he knows he was playing well. And
we know why Sancho's not working, bro. It's United. United are a mess. Ten Hag is a fraud.
That's another one that's difficult to really judge until you see him with the Bulls squad and he's had a bit of time again. But at the moment, it doesn't look too good for him, does it?
I think Sancho's a hell of a player. I just think their problem is managerial and ownership. But hey, fuck them.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Big Shug says Ainge likes a hardworking player in the 9, someone who sacrifices himself for the cause. I bet Ainge is buzzing. And again, Richarlison, for all his downfalls as a player, as a 9, you could at least say he's hardworking. Now, does the hard work lead to goals? Not yesterday. But that work rate, that relentless pressing from the top, that's what started the Pedro Porro effort, was Dane Scarlett pressuring the goalkeeper. He makes a quick throw, throws it out. I mean, it was Richarlison. I think it was Richarlison fluffing, actually. Richarlison fluffing up twice in front of net. And then the keeper grabbed it and Richarlison was kind of around. That's what it was. And then he threw it. But that press had been on all day. Richie had been pressing from the first minute, that same press, anytime they had the ball, which wasn't very often. But when they did, he did do that. So I think in that sense, Ainge does respect and value that kind of role. I did star a question here. It's a little bit of a different tone. Because we have been talking a lot about...
Sorry, very, very quickly, I've just got to add on to that. When you talk about forward and appreciating their ability to press the other team and work hard, remember a player called Shane Long? He did all of that. He did all of that better than anybody I've ever seen do, pressing from the front. But he's terrible. It's not. Yeah. It's not the key attribute you need in a forward. You've got to have talent to go with it. So if you're not showing that goal scoring ability and you're not setting up chances for your teammates either, you're letting the team down. For me, I've never been one that will value work rate above anything. And the other player I wanted to drop into that was another one we're linked with, Conor Gallagher. I know there's a lot of fans really rate him, would love to see him at the club. But I've looked quite closely at what he's been doing at Chelsea. And he's another one that shows all those attributes, the work rate. He looks great on the ball, really comfortable with it, really sort of composed even in the opponent's third. But then when you look what he actually does with it, it's pretty disappointing. He does not set up killer chances for teammates. He doesn't score tons of goals. He's really lacking the major part of his game, which is ability. I mean, if you're going to play in those forward positions, you need goals. If you're going to play at the back, you've got to be able to defend. If you do neither, what sort of player are you really? Just somebody that runs around a lot. We've had Sissoko's in the past. I mean, some of the players we've hero worshipped in the past, we're going way back. We used to have a Stefan Freund. He was all about work rate. Didn't really do anything else.
What do you think about this, Kuva? Simon Clark says he was playing under Fat Frank. Ainge will get the maximum out of him. Do you think it could be one of those instances where we weren't seeing the best out of Timo Werner in the Premier League because of the circumstances around him?
I don't know. I
think in order to be the best player you can be, coming from another country, your home country, not only the culture shock, but the step up in competition that he faced, Maybe you need a good foundation, a good manager behind you saying, "Don't worry, we'll fucking ship in all the schnitzel you want, my guy. You want some lederhosen? We'll get you Tottenham Hotspur branded lederhosen." Maybe he just needs like
you know what? I might go for the Timo Werner vibe if he's doing that. Coming out wearing lederhosen and a Stein.
imagine his signing video. He comes out in a Tottenham Hotspur lederhosen. He's like, "Come on, you spaz," and sloshing around.
Okay, I'll go for that. If he does that, I'm fully on board.
I love it. But no, I just think, they say if you take a cactus and you put it in the rainforest, it ain't going to survive. You know what I mean? But if you take a cactus and you put it in a cactus-like setting, the Sahara Desert, what's the difference between El Paso and the Sahara Desert? Maybe that cactus can survive in this desert. What's a desert in Australia? I feel like I should know one. That would have been my reference if I knew one off the top of my head.
If in doubt, just say the outback, because that covers a lot there, doesn't it?
He's out there. Yeah, the outback plants probably survive out here in El Paso as well. So again, in order to get a plant that bears the most juicy fruit, you need it to have an environment in which it can thrive in. So maybe getting away from Mr. Frank Lampard it could be good for him. Look, I still see this a couple ways, Kuva. And at the end of the day, the player, my opinions of him, not all the things that you've highlighted. Scott M has been here highlighting it as well. There's been a lot of people who are against it. And I like that there's this abject reasoning behind a lot of it. But for me, me and abject reasoning. So throw that over there. Throw that one over there too. Look, I think that this guy, point to prove, was ass in the Premier League, got made fun of and ridiculed. That to me is a point to prove. Ainge is my other reason why I have hope. Because if Ainge could get Richarlison to score more goals than two forwards of a title contending side, I think bro, Ainge just wants to put the game on hard settings. He says shit's too easy. I'm getting Richarlison to score. How can I make this harder? Give me a guy, Timo Werner.
Let's face it, Brennan Johnson's not banging loads of goals either, is he? So we've got a few that could do with and Kulusevski. How many has he got this season? It's about 3, 4, is it most? It's not a lot. It's not a lot.
Jay Ashraf agreeing with you here, Kuva. Says this is not ambition from the club. I'm so underwhelmed. Let me check in with the poll. I haven't done that very much today because there's been an absolute outrageous amount of viewers tonight. So big ups to everyone who is still rocking with us. Make sure you have hit a like. I see 250 likes, 357 votes. 357 votes. More than 100 people, Kuva, voted, but they did not like the video. Shame, shame, shame. And to those of you that don't want to like the video, I have a very simple clip for you.
And the donkey's like, that's the donkey. You're a donkey.
Oh, that was the wrong clip. I didn't mean that one. Big up. I see David.
I saw some of his show the other night with you on there. It's quite funny, isn't it?
Love that channel. Love it. He just hit 25K today, so congrats again to him. Love that guy. He's an absolute fantastic person to create content with. He brings out. We did a show earlier, Kuva. It was me, him, and Sean was like, "I've never seen this version of Jacob before. What is this?" He's like, I think Jacob's enamored with HUSAM, and that's why he's acting like this. And for me, I was like thinking about. I was like, am I? I try to be as authentic everywhere I go, and I think it's just something about HUSAM and his chat. They get me riled up in a manner in which I have to fight. I have to fight back. I have to be a proud Tottenham. You know what I mean?
Very much. I always got the impression when you were on that show, you should have your gloves on and the dressing gown on. You're just sort of kind of warming up, ready until you'll go. That's what I think. That's what's funny about it. It's really enjoyable. It really is. Big
up David Shear as well. Big up David Shear.
Yeah, big up. Definitely been supporting all the channels really well. Top bloke.
Fantastic.
Top bloke.
Yeah. Look, I did star this comment because it was a good question here from Bob Down Under. frequent flyer here of United Spurs of America says, question, do you think Ainge is just not that keen on Jota? Knows him well, and I thought he was a little evasive when asked about him months ago. Do you think the reluctancy is maybe he's like, yeah, I liked him for Celtic. I liked him for what we were doing there. But what I've seen, he's halfway through a Premier League season. He's got to have some kind of gained knowledge within that amount of time that's made him a different person than he was before he got here. So maybe that difference, that growth that he's made, he's seen that there's a clear gap between there and here, and maybe it wouldn't work. And I kind of agree with this. But Kuva, what do you think?
It's so difficult to tell. This is that sort of longer term question, isn't it? When we talk about, a manager wanted a player, a manager green-lighted a player. Is that necessarily the same thing as that's a player they out and out went to the club and said, can we sign him? Or is it a player that gets offered to him and he thinks, I'm short of players in this left wing position. This is a left winger. He seems okay. He's not who I'd go out and sign if I was given a choice of anybody, but he might do the job for me. So they'd rather take him than nobody at all. And how are we really going to know that thought process unless we're there at the club? Unless we're inside Ange's head, or he's talking to us directly about it. Because when we do hear things, obviously it's coming through the press office, coming through interviews. He can't just outright say every blunt thought he thinks about every player. He's got to have a little bit of finesse to it. Even for an Aussie, he's got to have a bit of finesse at times. Just show a little bit of support for players and be diplomatic. I can't tell with Jota. All you can say is that I've got the show to myself. All right, let's take it down a notch here. Jacob's hit the wrong button. We'll start answering some comments as well then, shall we?
Sorry about that.
Again, so
fucking scrolling through the comments, man, and it always goes back. God dang it. Big up, Kuva. Sorry about that.
Caught me off guard, that did.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Let me make sure.
Yeah, you're
okay,
fine.
I'm good. Okay. Oh, sorry about that, y'all. There's HUSAM's channel if you are interested. Great channel. I do a weekly, sometimes bi-weekly show over there. Or no, 2 times. What is it? 2 times in a week? We do a nice fun show over there. But look, where was I? All my super chats disappeared.
Different style, isn't it? HUSAM's is like you've got the arguments going there, but it's all kind of fun, light-hearted behind the scenes. Here, it's just all about the vibes, isn't it? It's a chill place here.
Yeah, it is. It's more immaculate here. There, it gets more feisty. It's what we call a bunch of Arabs in a coffee shop arguing with each other. So it's a lot of fun over there. That El Aqua show. So there's the link in the chat if you did want to subscribe. I am over there frequently. That is a channel I endorse as well. I love HUSAM. He's a great place. Great person, not place. Maybe he's a location. Maybe. But look, I got... James Jor's got a question here before I keep moving on. It's this question: do you think the game yesterday where we struggled for scoring spurred, no pun intended, this decision on even more? I think Ainge was pissed off yesterday. Kuva, let me ask you. I haven't actually asked you about the game and your thoughts and about it. Obviously, 1-0 versus Burnley, we win. Pedro Porro's right foot, immaculate. But what do you think? Where were you at the end of the match yesterday? Were you as frustrated as me? Immediately after, I was frustrated. Then I did about an hour and a half later. I was a little bit more calm and could think about it like we got through. At the end of the day, this is a results-based business. And what was the result, Kuva? A win. What do you do when you play? You play to win the game.
I would have been more angry if we'd won that on, say, a deflected shot or a penalty. But the fact it was an absolute great shot from Porro, that kind of made it worth watching just for that moment. But I thought otherwise, the way we played, it was flat. It was slow-paced, pedestrian. I think some of the players that have been getting rave reviews in recent matches, such as Lo Celso, I thought it was incredibly slow to move the ball around. One of our most effective weapons was the long ball over the top to Brennan Johnson, because at least he could use his pace to get clear. But then on the left, he didn't really put in a lot of great deliveries. Some were okay. And I thought he was unlucky when he cut inside. He had a lovely curling shot. But if it had been sunny, you would have thought, oh, this is a goal happening. With Brennan Johnson, it just didn't happen, did it? That goalkeeper suddenly looked 8 foot tall. Yeah, so I thought it was a very frustrating game. It was there was a lot of pretty stuff that didn't really lead anywhere. I think there was a lack of imagination at times, but mostly there was no sense of urgency for me. I think when we went forward forward so slowly, they could always get back into their defensive shape, and we just couldn't find a way through. It made their centre-backs look really good, which is a bit criminal when you're at home, especially since they'd rotated their team a bit. So good performance, no way. But like you said, we got through. And since it's a cup game, it doesn't matter whether it's 1-0 or 10-0. It's the same at the end of the day. League, it actually does matter with the goal difference. So league, you've got to keep at it. You've got to get as many as you can. Just keep pushing away. And I think league's where you get the more consistency as well, because it's a constant sort of level of opponent. Although in this instance, obviously Burnley are Premier League, but not for long. They're not. Yeah, it was just dull, lethargic, plodding along, very, very poor. Some players aren't up to the job. I'm going to actually give a shout out to Emerson Royale, because although I think again he's rubbish, but he actually filled in okay at the back there. He bailed us out a couple of times, and I don't think he did a lot wrong. Yeah.
When I was looking at a lot of the numbers,
there were a few okay performances, but there was a lot of sort of 6 out of 10 got the job done, but nothing special.
I think he was at least. I think Emerson. He got my player of the match last night on my recap show. He got my player of the match because I felt like he deserved to get some praise for the good job. It was a clean sheet. Yeah. He's not a guy who everybody loves on. Everybody's admiring of.
Full of admiration for.
Full of admiration when it comes to the lad. Real quick, I do want to say, since I left the stream and came back so abruptly, my super chats are gone. So normally at the end of the show, I like to go through and say thank you to everyone who super chatted, but they're all gone now. Do you see them on your starred? Do you have a starred section in the comments? They disappear for you too? Fuck.
Oh, wait a minute. No, there's 2 here, I'll see.
Got one you see 2?
Got one from it's either gambling or gaming, depending on
gambling. Yeah, gambling with the 10 with the yellow one,
and Bob Down Under,
and Bob Down Under with the yellow or with the greenie.
That's the only ones I see.
Yeah. Bob Down Under, big up man, says seemed like a lot of overreaction on shows. Watch one stream that you popped into, Jacob, and you would have thought we had lost 5-0. A bad day, but even same lineup would not play that bad again. 1-0. Again, I was pretty reflective yesterday. Internet guy can't take me seriously because my mustache is gone. I feel like I was pretty honest and reflective on my show after Sean's show. And I've said this a few times this stream that when I went on the Sean show and he was asking me about positive things and I was really struggling, I couldn't find one other than we won, the main overlying arching one, which is we won. But I was always like, I want more. 10 touches in the opposition's box in 37 minutes for Brennan Johnson. You got to give me something. 20 touches in the opposition's box from our whole team collectively in the first 37 minutes. You got to offer me more than 0 goals at that juncture, in my opinion. That's why I was so upset.
There were little things, weren't there? But it wasn't enough to put it all together, and you left completely satisfied. It was kind of like being teased.
16 shots, 7 on target, 63% possession. That is one of the things that I did draw on was we controlled the game for whatever it's worth. We controlled that match with over 60% possession in both halves. 16 shots, 7 on target. Some of those were.
I think this is sometimes where it can be a bit misleading with the stats, though, as well, can't it? Because you look at all the shots we had, including the goal. How many of them were ones you think, oh yeah, should be scoring that? There was a couple from Richarlison where we thought, oh, he snatched it, dragged it wide. But then actually,
True,
when
I
I looked at
remember.
when I looked at the replay of those, they weren't quite as easy as you first thought they were. Just because maybe there wasn't quite enough pace on the ball, or he just let it get a little bit out of his control before he took the shot. But you looked at what Burnley did right at the end there. They could have had 2 goals right at the death there. They were big chances, I thought. So in context, I wouldn't read too much into the shots on target or there. It gives an overall flavour of, physically what's happening. But again, quality over quantity. You can have 40 shots. If you miss with all of them, it doesn't mean anything. If the other team just scores their one and only attempt, they've had a better day than you. And goes back to what he said. End of the day, we did get the win. Job done. Move on. That was an FA Cup game. All that matters is getting through those. We're worried about the style of play in others. League matches, I worry about the style of play. I want to see the consistency there. Cup game, just get through it. Just get through it. Yeah. I don't care if we fluke our way through it to an FA Cup victory. It's fine.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, that one.
A big up. Did you?
Sorry, we're talking about positives. I'd say first things first. Some of those long balls mentioned in earlier to Brennan Johnson, his control was exceptional. Taking it perfectly in his stride, instant control. Loved watching that. He looked at very menacing in the first sort of half an hour, 20 minutes, half hour. Faded a little bit after that, but generally he was playing pretty well without the killer end product again. But is that down to him entirely? Maybe not. That's a team thing. Secondly, I had to admire yet again Udogie. Just the fact when he comes back and he just uses his strength on a player. It's like they're not even there. I think they are seasoned professionals, and he's a youngster still, and he's just pushing them off the ball like they don't exist. I love watching that. He's going to be an absolute monster, isn't he? So that was a positive too. And I already mentioned, Mr. Vibes at the back, Emerson Royale. Again, stressing very much so that I think he's not a very good footballer, but he did a good job for us. Him and Davis, they weren't troubled very often. And I think credit there where it's due. Then Burnley are not exactly the greatest team in the world, are they? But you can only play what's ahead of you. So at that level, if they'd struggled against the Burnley side as well, you would have thought, Jesus Christ, we've got no chance with anything here. But they didn't. They got us through. Otherwise, I don't know, what was there to take out of it? Not an awful lot. Porro's goal. I think even with Richarlison, as much as criticism can be levelled at him for missing the chances, I'm also going to give him credit because he is now regularly getting himself into those positions where he does miss them. He's getting into proper striking positions, free of a defender. That's a positive in the long run. He's just going to start finishing. Again, if you're a striker and you can't finish, you're not really worth your money, are you?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's
very
like a goalkeeper that can't save.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, you could play well with your feet all you want, but if you can't stop a fucking shot, what good are you? I did want to bring up this comment. Big up JC, one of our resident Chelsea fans, says, "Hey, Jacob and Kuva, big up brothers. So you're going for Werner, a fantastic person he is, always gives his best, keeps going, never drops shoulders. Add to that, electric pace, scores important goals, needs coaching for offside runs and composure." A little bit of a raving review, I would say, from a Chelsea fan. And I think a lot of people from a Chelsea perspective might not have felt so endearing, I would say. But big up, JC. Yeah, I think Kuva, not really thrilled. I'm okay with it. Not thrilled, but we needed an attacker. We needed a guy to play left, right, through the middle, something. We needed another attacking option in that front line, in my opinion. And Timo Werner, we need one for United. If we played the same way we played yesterday versus United, we're getting whooped. I don't care how bad they are. We're going to get beat by that. But sprinkle a little something different, we might see something a little different. So the urgency, the low risk, I'm all about this deal personally. Because again, this is one of those situations where it's like, if he bangs, now we got something. If he doesn't, goodbye. And it's not like we just bought a guy like Reguilon. When we bought him, now we have a problem. We don't know where the fuck to put him. Jed Spence, we bought him. We don't know where he's going to go now. These are the problems that I'm glad we're not doing anymore. We're doing a 6-month loan. In the past, we would have signed him to a 3-year deal. And then
I'd be really bothered if we'd just announced we're signing him for like the next 4 years for 50 million.
Saying.
Yeah,
or even 30 million. Even if it was 30 million and we signed him on 3 years, I would be like, what are we doing? But 6 months, it is very low risk, high reward, in my opinion.
Yes, it's a low risk gamble, I suppose. But I mean, the question then you have to ask is, who might we have got instead of that? Because there's certainly some other players around that are, could fit the bill. I'm not aware of who we're linked with and how available players are at the moment. Like I said earlier, it's not my job to know that. The club should have a huge list of potential players that they could go for. But end of the day, it is a loan deal, so let's just hope it works. If he comes along and he does hit all those things. By the way, that comment from was it the Chelsea fan? JC, is he Chelsea?
JC, he's Chelsea.
All of the things he said there, I agreed with before when he was talking about Timo Werner. He can do all of those things, no doubt about it. He can destroy teams on his day, but he does the one thing that he just can't do if you're going to be a Premier League player. He lacks that consistency. Because it's no good doing that once every 7 or 8 games. You're going to be doing it, 4 out of 5 games. So you've got to be.
Speaking of someone who performs, I would say 5 out of 5 streams that I see him on. Not that he's done 5 today, but anytime he's somewhere, he gives a 10 out of 10 performance. Always a lot of the things we would say good about Timo Werner, the work rate, the pace, the energy that he brings. My next guest exemplifies all that and then some. Kuva, what a surprise for you. We've got Mr. Box Office TV. Look, the show, I did warn him that I don't have too much longer to go in the show for me, but obviously Alex is a person whose opinion I love having on my channel personally. So big up, thank you for joining. And secondly, can't wait to hear what you're going to say, how you feel about Timo Werner. Kuva's on the side of, the hell are we doing? I'm on the side of...
First of all, Alex is going to be angry that I forgot to call him back earlier.
Oh, look at that.
I don't know what you got on about, bro. You know Alex is Alex privately, you know what Alex is like. Alex is a softie, you know what I mean? It's not really a big deal, isn't it? You know what I mean? But big up to everybody. Big up to Jacob. You should learn already. I don't need 10 minutes or 20 minutes to make my point, bro. I only need 2 minutes to make myself known, and that's it. That's Sean that waffles on most of the time. That's what he needs 20 minutes to make his point, bruv. You know what I mean? By the way, well done. Thank you, Sean, by the way, on your first talk show, because you gave me a lot of content this morning on my show, Mr. Box Office TV. Yeah, thank you, Johnny. We were talking absolute waffle about Emerson, saying he had an excellent game. Really? We're going there now. Are we really going there now? We're really going there. If we're going to start talking about Emerson being a great game, yeah, I want the apologies for Foyth. Wham Foyth. Do you remember Wham Foyth? Yeah? Yeah. Do we remember Joe Rodon? Yeah? Do we remember Joe Rodon? Yeah? If we're going to do the apologies for him, right, Emerson, right, I want to see apologies for those defenders. I want apologies for Ramon Vega. Yeah? Ramon Vega back in the 90s, because he was bang average, but we chased him out of the club, didn't we? You know what I mean? But because we got Emerson, and we haven't won nothing in how many years? Oh, we've got to be nice to him. Another one as well. Gil. Oh, that's a brilliant one. Does one little action, yeah? And by the way, I said this on Mr. Box Office TV this morning, yeah? I did a live this morning, yeah? Me personal and proud, and that's it. You know what I mean? Kuva knows it because he's seen it already. So go and like and subscribe. The point is, yeah, right? When I'm seeing people apologizing for these players, right? I want to hear the apologies for Bergwijn when we chased him out the club then. You know what I mean? Because Bergwijn did more than what Gil's done in his whole entire lifetime at Tottenham. Yeah? I want to see the apologies for Lamela. And I've got to apologise to him as well, because I'll tell you right now, I have him back tomorrow than Gil. who I want to ship him off back to Spain. I'll tell you that for a fact. Yeah. So I'm sorry. We're doing it again. We're doing it again, Tottenham fans. Yeah. It's not even like I'm saying it. You know what I mean? The thing is, though, like I said before, I said it on my stream as well. I'm not angry about the team anymore. I'm not angry about Tottenham anymore when they play. I'm not angry because I know my team. I know where I'm at with the team. I know where I'm at with Postecoglou. You know what my situation with Postecoglou is. Yeah. The only time I get angry is when I hear crap from Tottenham fans. Those are the ones. And you know what? No one's safe because when you talk rubbish, you'll see another Unleashed show from Mr. Box Office TV, and that's it. And that's all we all need to say, and that's it. Back to you, Jacob. I'm done. Big up, Kuba, and big up, Jacob, and that's it. I'm done. If you don't know, get to know.
There you are. We got 3 promotions, all before I've gotten how Mr. Box Office feels about 6-month loaning of TIMO WERNER. Alex, where are you at with this TIMO WERNER deal? Good, bad? Another Levy being cheap, doing the loan option deal? Where are you kind of laying with this?
Okay, right. One thing I'll say is this. It makes sense for 6 months. I question it long term. I say the same thing about Gallagher as well, if you really want to know as well. I think 6 months, cool. It makes sense because Richarlison is absolutely useless as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why we got back Scarlett, to be honest with you. I think he should have stayed at Ipswich because I don't see him playing.
I think we had to. They made him come back.
I mean, if you're not giving the youngsters a try, like Dorrington and Ashley Phillips and Donnelly, I mean, I don't see what chance this guy's got. Scarlett, I've got to be honest. But you know, that's how I feel, and that's it really.
But TIMO WERNER.
But yeah, I understand TIMO WERNER. My point is, TIMO WERNER. I think for me it makes sense for 6 months. But long term, I don't know. I've got question marks whether this guy's going to be very good. I don't know. Because, you know, there's a reason why Chelsea shipped him off back to Germany, didn't he? You know what I mean? And there's a reason why Germany, RB Leipzig, at the moment, are not going to let him go. But to be honest with you, it's good business at the moment for 6 months. Because at the end of the day, which again, this can be for any of the top 6 at the moment. We're in the title race technically because this is such a bang average league. Again, I can't believe I'm saying that. And I mean, when I mean title race, the only reason why I say title race is because it's a bang average league because we should be nowhere near. And I think they're cutting in onto this at the moment. I can't believe I'm saying this, honestly. But that's just my thoughts at the moment. But for me,
I appreciate that, and I think the more to go ahead, finish. Sorry.
No, go on, Jacob. Go on. Yeah,
I was just gonna say that look, we're over 2 hours here on the show. I am going to be ending it very, very shortly. So big up to the over 210 of y'all still rocking out with us. Make sure you are liked, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you got your vote in the poll because I'm going to be ending it very soon. 381 votes. How many people do you think voted and didn't like the video, Kuva? Last time we were at 100.
I don't trust them.
At 99, we've gone down. We've gone from
no one.
We've gone from 110 people who didn't like the video to 99. So 99 people. I got 99 people not liking the video but voting in the poll, and that's okay. I did tell him, Kuva, you're allowed to live the life you want to live. So
that's true. You can.
Yeah. You want to like, you want to not like, you want to subscribe, you want to not subscribe. But I do want to say real quick, big up to everyone who has subscribed because I think the channel has gotten 23 subscribers throughout the duration of this show. So it's absolutely immense. 25 subscribers. How about that? Big up everybody who did subscribe and is new to the channel. And big ups, I do appreciate that. The links for everyone you've seen, their links for their channels are in the description of this video, so make sure you are subscribed to everybody. I would appreciate that. And honestly, I don't know how to sign off this video because normally I like to say thank you to all the super chatters. I know Bob Down Under super chatted, and then I know Callum Roche grabbed the membership. I know Gambling donated. I know Zapur did a membership chat for 4 months. Shout out for being a member for 4 months. I can't remember who else.
There's bound to be a David Shear one. There always is.
Well, you know what? Shout out David Shearer every single time,
Yeah.
regardless, because of all the support. Whether he has financially done for this stream or not, you could probably go back in every other stream he has. So big up David Shearer every single time. Always want to big up. But big up Hotspur Hippie. Paul was here. Big up Shawnee boy. Sean was here. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. 385 votes. 63% of 385 says this is good business on loan. Let's see how he does. Pretty much split evenly amongst the other three answers is Timo is cheeks, and that's a silly signing. 13% says he's quality, and I'm stoked to get him. 12% says Levy being cheap, option again, and wasteful. But hey, we'll only find out. And I think Kuva said it best. We will find out. Big up Jean Neath took the poll first, then gave a like. Look at you go. Big up. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone who's been in the chat. Y'all have absolutely been killing it tonight. We had like over 330 people for most of the show. That's absolutely crazy. Bob Down Under says, sorry, no, from me. Well, Bob Down Under, you're a member, so shout you out every single time anyway. Just like I shout out Scott M. He doesn't agree with 85 to 90% of what I say, but big up Scott M every single time. And big up Nick Brown as well. Big up everybody who has been here locked in. Does anyone have any final thoughts on this Timo Werner being the first here we go before a Dragusin?
I think Dragusin will be done. But I need to find the thoughts on this actually. These signings that we're making at the moment is putting more pressure on Ange. For me, personally. I think it is putting more pressure on Ange because he's getting what he wants. Let's be honest here. You know what I mean? So I still think there's no expectations, but he's getting what he wants. Let's be honest. You know?
And
so
even if Fabrizio didn't say Ainge greenlit this, Ainge himself said any player that comes into this club, I have greenlit that as an okay. So whether he wanted him or not, he was okay with it. So I agree with you, Alex. This is part of the process where I said, give me 4 windows with Ainge getting his players, and then I will start to put bigger expectations on him and what he should do for us. So I agree with you on that, Alex.
We also have got to stop being, sorry to interrupt you, we also need to stop being hyping up our players. Because when you hype up our players, and I think the problem is because we haven't won nothing, we hype up our players to make it like I heard somebody saying,
Timo.
"Oh, so Son's the best captain we've ever had." I'm like, okay, where do you get that from? So if Son's the best captain we've ever had, okay, he's going to inspire us to win trophies then, yeah.
Oh come on, Alex, you're missing out on something here though, mate. Eric Dyer, fantastic player. Bayern Munich, please come and get him. You totally need him.
He is an England international. All right. 350 appearances in the top flight league.
Oh, cool.
Come on.
So
big up Norman Lamont. Apologies, buddy. Says, I've been a member for a while, but can't get any chats on. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I will say big up Norman Lamont, first off, for being a member for however long it has been. I think you do have the ability as a member to do a highlighted chat that gets my attention, because there's sometimes when there's like 300 people, which was absolutely crazy and cool today. There's over 300 people. It's hard to see everyone's chat. So when they're highlighted, it makes it a lot easier. But Norman, I want you to know, I apologize. If I did miss you, I am sorry. And I will say this, hopefully you can join us for the next members show. We'll be planning that out sometime this month. So all the members, be on the lookout for that. You want to come have a chat with me and some other folks, have a little members hangout like we did. I was going to do like a members call in. Let's just hang out. Fuck that. So big up Norman. Apologies for missing you if I did, but big up. Appreciate you being a supporter, man. I really do.
Just want to add this, but I just want to add that we just got to stop hyping up our players, because I think I hear a lot about Adoji, who's been good. He's been good, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on him next season to be better. Vicario needs to be better. You know what I mean? This is how the game works. You know what I mean? This is how the game works. When you have a good season, you don't just rely on your good season last season. That season, you got to get better and better and better and better. And unfortunately, I don't think players actually realise this. Even though I say it's a bang average league, I do say this: the managers are very good, and I think that's where it's helping it a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I think Andrew's got a little bit about him. You know what I mean? Obviously, Guardiola, Klopp, De Zerbi. You know, there are good managers out there. You know, yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Jacob.
This is how I feel.
I hate. Listen. This is no diss at you or Kuva or anybody else. You know what I mean? It's like there's certain people I know. You know what I mean? And you know who I'm going to talk about. You know who I know. You know who I've said. I've said it already. The people you know, Kuva's here already. So and it's Matic and you know and the Hotspur hippie. You know. I respect it, even Ellie, for instance. You know what I mean? But the point I'm making is at the moment, I just think we're just overhyping our players. But I do
You
recognise
know what happens
why
when
the
I
excitement
overhyped
is.
Udogi? Did you hear what happened when I overhyped
What?
Udogi? I
Oh yeah,
overhyped him in such an immaculate manner that even some of our rivals' biggest content creators, they just couldn't contain their
Destiny
enthusiasm.
Adoji. Oh yes. Oh, Destiny Adoji Day. Hey, idiots, man.
If we can make signings that make our rivals do this, hey, and it makes me do this, hey, I think we're doing all right. I don't know if Timo Werner makes me go, hey, 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 hey. It makes me go, all right, sir, let's see what we could do. But you know
I
what?
think we've got to give it praise. We've got to give it praise that they worked. They got it done quickly. You know, they thought of something, got it done quickly, and they got ahead of the competition as well. And I think it's a very good signing for 6 months, definitely. Because I think, like I said, I think Richarlison's absolutely useless. I've got to be honest.
Here's the trouble for me, and this will be a final thought as well. January transfer window coming up. We all know what we wanted. We knew it, priority central defender, and then I think probably the other one was either that creative midfielder or a striker, somebody who could score goals. So what have we actually done? We've signed a left winger who can possibly play in some other positions, who doesn't score the goals and certainly isn't a central defender. Isn't that typical of what we do at this club?
Yeah.
We need a central defender, sign a winger.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And my final thing I'm going to say here is Sean Link says Lee was being sarcastic. It's obvious. I know. And Trevor Grigg says, Jacob, you do realize you're proving Lee Gunner right. Let me, again, you probably missed my response to his blatant, what should I call it, childhood tactic of making fun of someone enjoying themselves. Look, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me enjoying the fact we extended Destiny Udogi. So by me playing that clip, it's not me proving him right. It's me not giving a fuck what Lee Gunner, what any other Joe Schmo on the internet. I don't give a damn. You could have 1 million subscribers. You could have 1 subscriber. I don't care how you feel about my feelings about us signing a player. So Trevor Griggs, you're saying, I saw a comment from you earlier saying, Jacob, stop doing Levy favors. Do you think this channel with less than 4,000 subscribers in America has any bearing or weight on what we do in our business and from a club level? I think it's absolutely silly for you, for Lee, for anyone to think that I have so much power. It's absolutely fucking hilarious. I am a dude in El Paso, Texas, who gets in front of his camera and gets away from his wife and son for a couple hours and does this channel. Now, if me doing that has some impact on what my club on the other side of the fucking world does, then you know what? I will bow down and say, hey, my fault. I didn't realize the power I had in my left hand. Yes, exactly. I will make Kuva bow down to me and my superiority. But what I will say is this again, I lean into silly things like people making fun of me because I'm celebrating us signing up what I would say the best left back in the league is. Alex would probably represent a larger faction of Spurs fans that would say, don't overhype. Let's not get head over heels for a guy. But what I would say is, again, I love Alex. But Alex's opinion on how I feel about us extending Udogi will not change me and my feelings or my actions. So again, talk to me nicely every single time. I will celebrate just like this every single
Destiny
time.
Adoji. Oh yes. Oh, Destiny Adoji Day. Hey, idiots, man.
So again, if by me playing this clip somehow is now saying, oh, Jacob is okay with what Levy's done, then you aren't listening. You aren't watching. You need to open your eyes. You don't think that I know that he was being sarcastic, trying to take the piss out of me? I lean into fools like this. There ain't no one in the amount of time that I've been a grown-ass man that someone has been able to deter me from my feelings and the way that I feel about something, let alone a fucking Arsenal fan, let alone a person who won't even celebrate a game-winning goal because it's a signing he didn't like. I'm not that petty. I love the game. I love Tottenham Hotspur. And when we do things that make me happy, I'm going to fucking celebrate it. So if you don't like it, if Lee doesn't like it, if that's somehow helping Daniel Levy, keep telling me I have this power. I appreciate it, but you're overestimating just how much I can do from this spot here in America. But again, thank you so much for being here. I will play that clip every single time. I will celebrate signings however the fuck I want to celebrate signings. I will feel however I want to feel. Some dude saying X, Y, and Z. No, hey, you can keep clapping. I can keep going. I've been trying to end the show, but it's stuff like this that like really, you know, I don't think you understand where my mindset is. So I'm just making it very clear. It's nothing against anyone.
You know you're onto something when Scott M is backing you up. Can you look at his comment? Just a few, about a dozen comments.
Udogie is a good player, at least. Our fans pump up so much garbage. Can't be upset when guys celebrate the few quality guys we do have. This sounds like Scott was dancing. Yay, Destiny Udogie Day. Yay.
Exactly.
And honestly, that clip makes me very happy. I watch it and it puts a smile on my face because this guy who's been YouTubing for however long he's been in the game, which I did hear he allowed some dude to wank it on his stream. So, again, do you think I give a shit what he thinks? I don't. I really don't. I care what my wife thinks. I care what my son thinks. I care what my family thinks. And those friends that I do love and adore. And I do care what the chat thinks. I want y'all to be happy while you're here. I don't do this show to make you feel upset about yourself, upset about the way you feel as a fan. I allow everybody here to feel however they want to feel. You want to hate something, you want to love something, that's all on you, my friend. All I will do here is speak my truth. And if my truth somehow is proving Lee Gunner's point that, oh, these Arsenal fans, or excuse me, these Spurs fans, they love to big up random shit like signing Udogie to a 5... Bro, we got Destiny Udogie till 2030, and by all intents and purposes, he's better than any left back I've seen play in his fucking shirt's color. So, hold that. Again, you don't like my happiness? I don't give a fuck. You like my happiness? I like that you like it, and I hope my happiness can bring some happiness to you. That's all I'm doing here.
That's the right attitude. That's the right attitude, Jacob. This is the way I feel, and this is the way I always do it now. I've had enough now. You know what I mean? But I preach what you're saying. That's it, really.
Yeah. That's just my final thought is don't ever let someone tell you how you should support your club. And also
I'm glad that Mr. Box Office has inspired you, bruv. That's all I can say.
You always inspire me. You always inspire me, Alex. Always.
You're unleashed. You know what I mean?
Big up Rowan Kumar, and big up to all the regulars, all the YouTube channel members that be chiming in. I try to make sure I say hello to all y'all. Try to keep the vibes immaculate. Jacob, and clearly you don't give a F about Lee Gunner, and you not even mentioning his name even once in your streams proves it. Well done.
Destiny Udogie. Oh, yes. Oh, Destiny Udogie Day. Hey. Idiots, man.
You like that, Ashton? Did I show him enough for you? Is that sufficient enough for you, Ashton Mills? Hold that, you absolute fraud. You want to see more Lee Gunner? You can go to Lee Gunner at YouTube. You could also Google Lee Gunner wank, and you can see a stream in which he's just sitting there with his buddy, and his buddy's just wanking it on stream. You can find those things as well. But yeah, don't worry, me. Oh, Destiny Udogie Day, yay! Yeah, hold that. That's what you supporting. But hey. There will be a Dragusin Day, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. We will find out. But that's going to do it for the show. This has been extra long. I am sending you on over. There's a celebration stream on This Is Football with Husam. He hit 25K today. Big ups to him. I will be sending him on over, sending y'all on over. But big up. Jacob, Clearly, you don't have a comeback for that. Hold that, Jacob. I do. I played you a clip. That's my comeback. What else do I need to say? I got your Lord and Savior dancing about me signing a player. Haha. I think that's the last laugh, in my opinion. But Ashton Mills, I hope you are well. I hope you hit a like on your way out. And if you don't, it's all good. You're allowed to live the life you want to live. But big up, everybody. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. And remember, folks, as always, I need you to stay blessed, stay fresh, up the lads, and come on, you Spurs. Kuva?
United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
You and donkeys are the same. What is the difference between you and a donkey? The donkey